All right. Hold on now. You can't see me. What is going on here? Something is going on with my background. Give me a minute. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat. Trying to see what's going on. Hide that. There we go. Absolutely. That is a lot better, isn't it? I was like, what is going on here? Oh, wow. Hope everybody's having a good night, a good Friday night. Today we're going to mix it up a little bit. It's still going to be a episode of Night Screams on our Friday night hangouts. But tonight we are going to mix it up a little bit and have a little bit of fun with some 90s horror. And some of this stuff might be right at the year 2000, but it still has 90s DNA written all over it. I'm pretty sure you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I know that, like I had in my thumbnail that Final Destination as part of that group, but you know what? In my eyes, I still picture it as a 90s film because we're in that transition before we go into that supernatural horror decade. That was kind of like the breaking point to it of resurfacing all that. But that first Final Destination movie has 90s DNA all over it, and we'll get into it tonight. And I want to know what all of y'all's favorite 90s horror films are tonight. And we're going to talk about one of our favorites that came out in 1996, Scream. We're going to talk about that. But I got some hidden gems that maybe y'all haven't even heard of, and maybe y'all have some hidden gems that I've never even heard of. And, it might be an idea for a watch party. You might bring something to my attention that I need to check out. So yeah, it's going to be a great discussion, but it's going to be strictly just 90s horror. We'll do another live stream for like 80s horror, 2000s horror, remakes, reboots, all that kind of stuff. But we're going to start with 90s horror because you know what? I'm a 90s guy, and a lot of people still say, man, you're stuck in the 90s. Hell yeah, I am. Hell yeah. It was the best, in my opinion. Hope everybody's having a fabulous day. Let's see who's in the chat right now. Dominic St. Clair. Hey, man. What's going on? Welcome. Screamrad. Hey, what's up, Screamrad? Haven't seen you in a minute, man. Welcome, dude. Awesome. Awesome to see you. Jen Warner's in the house. Hey, hey, hey. What is up, Jen? Welcome. Welcome. Jen, we have a watch party coming up very soon of Dracula 2000. That's going to be a lot of fun. I cannot wait to revisit it. I've actually been wanting to watch it before we even watch it Sunday, but I refuse. I'm going to watch it. I remember a lot about it, but I don't remember a lot about it. So I want to rewatch it with you fresh instead of knowing anything, because I just realized, I've known, but it's just odd seeing Gerard Butler as Dracula. It's going to be a fun watch, fun talk. Let's see here. Dominic St. Clair Studio says, I like to see the Faculty sequel where Alien King goes to Earth to seek revenge on the students responsible for the Queen's death. That's an interesting plot. Yeah, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. It could just be a simple premise because it's all about execution. It's all about how the movie plays out. And that's the one thing about the Faculty. That is one of my favorite 90s films. 90s horror films. It's got a lot of stuff written all over it. The characters in it are some of the best in horror, in my opinion. And Kevin Williamson, who wrote Scream, wrote The Faculty, and Robert Rodriguez directed it. And I think that's one of Robert Rodriguez's better directed films. And it did not get the recognition it deserved when it first came out. But I've always said The Faculty should absolutely come back. It should be in a series, or let's start a sequel, something. Let's just get that thing back going, man. Like, so many great ideas you can work with there, and it's a great whodunit. So yeah, I always said that, like, I think that just the way that movie was directed and the way the characters were written and how it had like you got to feel for the characters before anything really happened to them. I think that was really important, and I think that's what was important in Scream and in a lot of these horror movies is that we get to know our characters and have great actors in those roles. They're not just here to just be killed off. You want to get to know them. You want to get attached to them before they rip our heart out from taking them out. You know, um, so yeah, I've always said that Robert Rodriguez. It would be interesting since Wes Craven isn't here, and I know Radio Silence is directing the new Scream films, but let Kevin Williamson write another Scream movie and let Robert Rodriguez direct it. Whatever you feel, because some people love Robert Rodriguez, some people hate Robert Rodriguez, but you got to say that the Faculty was executed very well, and if he could do something like that with Scream, they're pretty close, they're pretty similar, just not aliens. um, doing good, doing good. Jen says, I'm tired. I'm going to stay as long as I can to stay awake. Yeah, Jen, I understand. These Friday nights they can be a little late. Let's see here. Who else we got in the house? We see you now. Okay, cool. Yeah. It's like I had two backgrounds on. I didn't realize it. Jamie Hart's in the house. Hello. What is up, Jamie? Jamie, I know you got some great 90s horror ideas and maybe some hidden gems that I've never even heard of. I'm really curious to see what you come up with. I think I mean that's your scene as well. So looking forward to that. Dominic St. Clair Studio says Final Destination is a 90s film. Yeah, that's how I feel, man. Like even though it came out in year 2000, it was filmed in the 90s. So it still just had all that 90s flair on top of it. And I love the first Final Destination. I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with the reboot. I think it's going to go straight to HBO Max. But it's not supposed to follow the same formula. So I'm very curious to see how that goes. I would love to see Devon Sawa come back. Like, you never saw him die on screen. Maybe they can do a direct sequel to the original and bring back that shadow figure that was in Final Destination. Y'all remember that? Like they got rid of that idea in the sequels. There was always like this shadowy figure like death, amongst them before they died. Right before someone was taken out, you just saw like this shadowy figure go across like some metal or the mirror or just in the background on the wall. And it was just like, I thought that was a really chilling thing to do. Kind of reminded me of The Frighteners, just not goofy like The Frighteners. Even though The Frighteners is a good 90s movie too, but that's like a horror comedy with Michael J. Fox. Great film. If you have not seen The Frighteners, check it out. Robert Zemeckis directed that. Really cool movie. Really a lot of great ideas in there. Yeah, Final Destination does have that 90s feel. Yeah, with the whole teens and everything and having to come together. That's another movie that was very well, had the characters written very well, and you got to know the characters before anything really happened to them. So that's important to me in a movie. That's important to me in my horror movies. Like I gotta like the characters that we're following. You got to write them well, and they got to be well acted. And yeah. Jim Warner says, I didn't see Final Destination until this year. Wow. What'd you think about it, Jen? Let me know. I'm curious what you thought. The original Final Destination. Scream Rat said, I sometimes forget that Candyman was a 90s film, has that 80s charm. It definitely does have an 80s feel to it. Yeah, Candyman is definitely a 90s movie. That first movie scared me as a kid. Just his voice, just the eeriness. That's another thing I'm saying about the execution. Just that sense of dread and like those long takes of just like these like dark corridors and of the city. You just feel the threat. The filmmaking itself, the directing has to be a character in itself. The cinematography. Kirsten Marie's in the house. What's up, everyone? Hey, Destin. Hey, Kirsten. Welcome to the party. Talking about 90s horror. Curious, what's your 90s? What's your favorite 90s horror movie? You cannot pick Scream. You cannot cheat. Do not cheat. There's a lot of great stuff. Has anyone ever heard of Event Horizon? It's a movie that does not get talked about enough and deserves. If you have seen it, it deserves a rewatch because I think they updated it to UHD 4K. Have not watched it, and I heard and there's been in talks of a director's cut. Like that movie was originally NC-17, and they had to cut it just to make it rated R. And there's supposed to be a lot of stuff on the cutting room floor, and they were supposed to put it in a director's cut. Maybe Scream Factory release it or something. I really want to see that cut. And yeah, Lawrence Fishburne's in it. Oh, you got I almost said Thomas Jane. You have Sam Neill from Jurassic Park. He's in it. Terrific movie. It's so much fun, and you know they've even like that movie even inspired some video games like Dead Space and the Callisto Protocol and stuff like that. So yeah, that movie gave a lot of inspiration to a lot of other projects and deserves a lot more recognition than it got, and it was ahead of its time. All right. Screenwriter Candyman has that 80s feel. Yeah. Jamie says, "Are you being fancy and drinking champagne?" Hell yeah. That's what I did on my 2,000 subs live stream, Jamie. And yeah, so yeah, I'm a fan of champagne. I think I like it more than I like wine. It's not as sweet, and yeah, it's just I like to mix it up every now and then. Why not? It's some I don't know how to pronounce it. Martini Rossi, Rossi. I don't know. Not a sponsor. Good stuff though. Really good stuff. Call me a little biased because that's what like me and Robert England was drinking back at Texas Frightmare. It was just like bottles of this stuff. So I don't know. And my mom always said I had a champagne taste on a beer budget. Anybody else have mamas that had their sayings? Let's see. Dominic St. Clair Studio says, if you told someone that Candyman was released in '89, they would believe you. Absolutely. Yeah, because you're right. I mean, like I said earlier, like Candyman has that 80s charm. It was still, we were moving into that slasher, and he was kind of like a little bit of both, He was slasher and supernatural. So, and that's about the time that slashers were starting to get stale in the early '90s until it was revitalized with Scream. And I Know What You Did Last Summer. What do you guys think about I Know What You Did Last Summer and I Still Know What You Did Last Summer? And we're not going to talk about Always Know What You Did Last Summer. I don't really consider that, if you've seen that one. I like I Know What You Did Last Summer. It's less of a whodunit and more of just waiting to get to the end. I feel like it could have had more of a mystery element to it as far as like who did it. But there's definitely some great chase scenes in there, especially the one that stands out is Sarah Michelle Gellar's. We didn't know if she was going to make it or not. And for Sarah Michelle Gellar to go from I Know What You Did Last Summer and then to Scream 2, like she was definitely up there with some of the best movies. And I see she's coming back on some Netflix movies and stuff too. So yeah, I like seeing her come back. And they've been talking about a Buffy the Vampire Slayer resurgence of their TV show. Never really watched it, but I did watch the '90s Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie. Anyone ever seen that with Christy Swanson and Donald Sutherland and David Arquette's in it, and Paul Rubens, Pee Wee Herman's in it as a vampire. So many great actors. It's like a comedy horror. It's so goofy. So many '90s like people in that movie. Hilary Swank. That was like one of Hilary Swank's first acting roles, and she was one of the friends. Really goofy movie. But yeah, that's the only Buffy the Vampire Slayer type of film or whatever property I've seen. So yeah. Jamie Hart says, I love Dracula 2000 and Gerard Butler is one spicy vamp. He can bite me anytime. Nice, Jamie. Okay. Yeah, it's really, I mean, it's like a young Gerard Butler. And like if this movie, like we didn't know who the hell Gerard Butler was at that time, and it's crazy just to see him as a vampire. What if they did a direct? I mean, I know they did sequels to Dracula 2000, and they were like straight to DVD, and they were like had different actors in it and stuff. Dimension did a lot of those straight to DVD home video movies of sequels. But if Dracula 2000 had a requel type thing go on, and they brought it back to, you know, whatever, Dracula 2023, I don't know what you would call it, and they brought Gerard Butler back at his age to play a vampire, that would be awesome. They would be banking off his name. Let's see here. He's like up there with like Liam Neeson now. Just please don't fall into the Nicolas Cage of Hollywood. They're right there. They're right there. They're just like, you gotta know when to hold them and know when to fold. All right, let's see. Skull Crusher's in the house. Misery is the real Footloose movie. I see what you did there. Nice. Misery is a good Stephen King movie. Kathy Bates. Oh man, creepy. Really creepy stuff. Wasn't there another one with her that was a Stephen King property? Like, was it called Liz Claiborne or something? I might be saying that wrong. I can't remember, but I've seen bits and pieces of that one. Jim Warner says, please remember to like and subscribe. Yes. Thank you, Jen. Appreciate it. Yes, if you're just coming through and you're just, you know, stopping by and then you're headed out, please, I would much appreciate it if you would smash that like button before you go. Helps this channel out a lot. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Jen. Always looking out for me. Scream Rat said, From Dusk Till Dawn is one of my favorites. I planned on talking about that tonight. You beat me to it, Scream Rat. From Dusk Till Dawn is definitely one of the best vampire movies, in my opinion, and one of the best performances by George Clooney. Absolutely. And that's another one directed by Robert Rodriguez, and you got Quentin Tarantino in there with the writing. And honestly, I feel like that Quentin Tarantino directed the first half of that movie, and then the second half was Robert Rodriguez. That's what I really think. I think they were both together on that. But I think Robert Rodriguez just got the creds for it. But absolutely. It does get a little cheesy in some parts later on in the movie. The tone kind of shifts just a little bit. It gets a little bit more fun. But I love it. It's absolutely great. Harvey Keitel is in it. Danny Trejo. You got Cheech Marin playing like 3 or 4 different damn parts. But George Clooney, man, that was before George Clooney was the George Clooney. And he played a badass to a T. And if they could get him back, you would think that if like Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez got back together and said, hey, we're going to make like a really good sequel to From Dusk Till Dawn. That was another one that did a lot of straight to DVD movies afterwards. Like Robert Patrick, who played T-1000, was in the second film. And I don't know who the hell was in the third film, but it's just like, and it had its fun moments too, because I think Bruce Campbell was like at the beginning of that or something, but it didn't hold a candle to the original. The original was so great action. You got Tom Savini in there, a sex machine. I mean, come on, Fred Williams. I mean, the list goes on. So many. That movie. That's one of the movies that you could watch over and over. In my opinion, might not be for everybody. It does have a lot of cussing. It does have a lot of violence, but it's fun, and it's. I mean, Selma Hayek's in it as well. So like, there's so many great performances in that movie, and I love it. I always wanted to see where that movie was going to take place afterwards. I wanted to pick up right where it left off, because where that camera like zooms out, you see that temple underneath the bar. Like, come on. There's a lot they could do with it. Rawhead Nick's in the house. Rawhead, what's up, buddy? What is up? My brother from another mother. Hell yeah, that's my buddy right there. Everybody show Rawhead some love. Let's see here. Dominic St. Clair Studio says, right, no one really mentions that the faculty is a whodunit. You're trying to figure out who is a human and who is not. Exactly. It's kind of like you don't really think about the whodunit aspect until we're heading into the third act of the film, because they're like, you know, we get the queen, we get them all, and that's like that's where we're heading to the third film. We weren't really thinking of it in that way. Um, and if you watch it, like the opening is so chilling, the way it's executed and everything. It's just it's crazy. It's crazy. Man, the faculty. I always say the faculty in urban legend needs a reboot ASAP. And I would love to see it as a series. I want to see it expanded. Like the faculty could be like a different alien queen or king or whatever every season. You don't. It's a whodunit every single time. And and then with urban legend, every season could be a different urban legend, but keep the whodunit aspect. That's what makes it really really intriguing, in my opinion. Dominic St. Clair Studios. Robert Rodriguez is one of my favorite directors. Very underrated. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Now he does do some real cheesy stuff sometimes, but that's his style. But he can definitely direct some really badass action scenes. Desperado. Anybody seen Desperado? Antonio Banderas, Danny Trejo, Selma Hayek, among other. Cheech is in that. Quentin Tarantino's in that. Quentin Tarantino has a great cameo in Desperado if you've never seen it. Tarantino has more popularity than Robert. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's the only way we would be able to get a George Clooney back in a From Dusk Till Dawn, is if Tarantino is attached to it, maybe possibly directing it and writing it. And George Clooney, I'm sure with given Tarantino's status now, he would come back for it. But I don't think Tarantino's going to touch it, honestly, which is sad. I would like to see another one. Wasn't really the biggest fan of the show. I tried to get into it. It just didn't do it for me. Let's see here. Dominic St. Clair Studio says, yes, shadowy figure that is supposed to be death is very good image of what death seems to look like. Yeah, I mean, we don't need no big special effects, death going around in a row. You know, if you ever seen The Frighteners, that's the only thing I can really compare it to. You know, we don't need anything like that. It's like too much CGI. We just need a subtle, just like they did it, just like a shadow. In the later sequels, they just dropped that idea. And I was just like, and then they, you know, you have Tony Todd in here, and he's like, acts like he knows everything of what's going on. I thought he was going to have like a twist to it or something, like he's working for death, or he is death or something. That would have been cool. Absolute man. I really think that Devin Sawa getting back in horror with the Chucky series and everything, I think that he needs to come back to Final Destination. They need to give him a shot. I think that that's probably hurt his career just a little bit, is that he didn't come back for the sequel. He started being in some straight to DVD stuff after that first Final Destination. And while we're talking about that, another one, which is a horror comedy, but it is a little horror, Idle Hands. Idle Hands with Devin Sawa and Seth Green and Jessica Alba, among others. Great. That's one of my favorite comedy horrors, where his hand becomes possessed and is just killing people. It's so funny. It's so good. It does have some real cheesy parts in it, but it's supposed to. It's a horror comedy. That's what they do. Let's see here. That's a question I want to see y'all answer. What is y'all's favorite horror comedy from the 90s? Favorite horror comedy from the 90s? Let me know. Jamie Hart says, if I could relive the 90s, I'd totally do it again. Best years of my life. I had a blast in my late teens and early 20s. Heck yeah. The 90s is something. It's untouchable. I mean, we had I feel like the best movies came out at that time. I feel like it was right before social media. I mean, it was right before the smartphone and apps and all this stuff. And you know, movies, it meant more, in my opinion. Now we're so oversaturated with content, with movies and series and different streaming services and Marvel Cinematic Universes and the DCU and all these other things that you have to keep up with, Disney Plus and all this stuff. And it's just so overwhelming. You almost don't even know where to start. So you just don't watch anything. You got to be pick and choosy. Back then, when a blockbuster came out, it was a blockbuster. And that brings me to my next point. I miss Blockbuster. Oh, what a great Friday night that would be. I'd be at Blockbuster right now in the horror section, written probably, well, I already own them, but like a Nightmare on Elm Street or a Halloween movie or one of the Scream films. What is your favorite horror comedy from the 90s? Dominic St. Clair says, death is as much of a horror icon as Jason and Freddy. Yeah, he just doesn't have as many sequels. Jamie Hart says, I saw Candyman at the theater. It was gorgeous, and that music was bigger than life. I remember that opening scene, Jamie. That's what scared me. I was young. I don't even know how old I was. I was really young, and my sister's boyfriend at the time worked at a video store, and he would get these screeners. He'd get the movies before they even came out, and he would bring them over. And I know what looking back, I know what he did. He brought over scary movies because I liked them, so he could hang out with my sister. I know what you did, man. All right, I'm calling you out right now on Destination Station. But it molded me into who I am today. I remember popping Candyman in my VCR, and that opening scene traumatized me for so long. So long. Rawhead Nick says, Candyman had a lot of the original Child's Play atmosphere to it. I can see that. Yeah. Absolutely. Rawhead said, Event Horizon is a freaking gem. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I love, if you have not seen Event Horizon, check it out. Great movie. It's like action horror, but it's definitely leans really horror, you know, and it's got some really creepy elements. There's a scene in Event Horizon where Sam Neill is crawling through a ventilation system, and that's all I'm gonna say. It's creepy. It's up there with that scene where they're crawling through the ventilation system on Alien, and there's that jump scene, you know. It was probably inspiration to that. Scared the shit out of me. I heard the tapes with the deleted scenes got destroyed. Damn. Well, I've been hearing things about Scream Factory supposedly has a way of resurfacing them and putting them together, and they've been talking about it a couple of years now. Jim Warner says, Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Yes. You know, Jen, Wes Craven's New Nightmare was so ahead of its time. I absolutely love Wes Craven's New Nightmare. And the look of Freddy Krueger, oh my God, it was creepy. I thought it was a good addition with the trench coat and the way his glove was, and he just looked a little meaner, you know. And it just something about him. It was just like he was back to being scary Freddy again. And that's how I want to see like a reboot done. I want to see that version of Freddy, like seriousness. And I know it ain't the Freddy Krueger in that movie, you know, of what they're trying to explain, but I'm just saying that execution of the character, that's the tone we're talking about. And Wes Craven brought that back to the screen. And that scene where he pops out of that closet frightened me. It absolutely frightened me for the longest time. And I snuck into Wes Craven's Nightmare. And you know, I've said this before on stuff. I used to sneak into horror movies back whenever I was a kid. Like I would, you know, have my parents buy tickets for like Jumanji or whatever, you know, and they think I'm going to see that, and you know. And then whenever like the staff isn't looking, it was just like, all right, well, I'm going to go sneak into this theater right here and I'd go sit somewhere. Sometimes I get caught, sometimes I wouldn't. It was a 50-50 chance, but it was just like, hey, you can't be in here. I'm just like, oh, okay. Well, now I'll go watch fucking Jumanji. But a lot of times it worked. And Wes Craven's Nightmare, it worked. And I was mesmerized. Larry Warner's in the house. What's up, everyone? What's up, Larry? Yeah, we talk about that. And Practical Jokers. Um, Scream Rat says, New Nightmare comes to mind. Yes, yes. New Nightmare, great. Absolutely great. And that was right before Scream came out, and kind of took some elements of that meta. That was like, that was meta before meta was meta. So yeah. If you haven't seen Wes Craven's New Nightmare, watch it again. You know, if you weren't feeling it the first time you watched it, watch it again. Give it a shot. Also on Wes Craven's New Nightmare, the Julie, the aunt, or not the aunt, the babysitter for Dylan. She was the mom on the Scream TV series. She was Emma's mom. So yeah, there's a fun little fact. And if you want my opinion on that Scream TV series, and I'll say this, I think Emma's mom, Julie from New Nightmare, I think she is the real reason why everything was happening in that. I think she did something really bad, or she is the original killer, and let Brendan James fall for it. All right, that's all I'm going to say. That's not 90s. We're going to leave that alone. Okay. Okay, since we're talking about New Nightmare, we got to talk about Dave McRae's film coming out. It looks really good. It's getting a lot of publicity lately, and we're bringing Miko Hughes back as Dylan, and it's called Dylan's Nightmares. Really looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with that after seeing what Dave McRae did with Black Christmas. So yeah, check that out. Can't wait to see that. Let's see here. Dominic St. Clair Studio says, my favorite 90s horror has to be Final Destination. The concept of a slasher that kills people using the environment as a domino effect is very creative. Yeah, I mean, it's not a slasher, but they could play with those ideas and combine them together. I don't know if there's a movie out there similar that they've maybe tried to do something like that. Trying to think of anything that's similar to what you're explaining, but yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Rawhead said New Nightmare was epic. I remember being enthralled by it. Yeah, man, I think we used to watch it all the time when we were kids. Like that was one of the ones that was on the marathon. We would watch horror movies every weekend. Heck yeah. Let's see here. Jamie Hart says, my favorite 90s horror, I don't know how to choose just one. Stigmata. Okay, I remember that. Event Horizon. Supernova. Wow. In the Mouth of Madness. Great. Wishmaster. Good. New Nightmare. Amazing. Candyman. Amazing. I love them all. Great picks, man. Or lady, I'm sorry. I'm just used to always saying man. Great picks, Jamie. Stigmata. I remember seeing that and I was thinking, oh, this is going to be the next Exorcist, and it looked really scary. I remember that trailer scared me. I have not seen it since it came out. Same thing with Supernova. I remember, didn't that have like Lou Diamond Phillips in it, and I had a really good cast, and they were like similar. It was similar to Event Horizon, but not really. I gotta rewatch Supernova. I need to look that up. I have not seen that in a long time. But In the Mouth of Madness, it's absolutely a classic. It is a cult classic. Sam Neill's in that as well. Yeah, he did like Event Horizon and In the Mouth of Madness. I love both of those. And it was so cool to see Sam Neill from Jurassic Park doing these horror movies, you know? That was so cool because you don't see that often, you know? And then you saw Lawrence Fishburne in it. I mean, in Event Horizon, you just don't see that, like these tier A actors being in these horror movies. But John Carpenter, In the Mouth of Madness, is so underrated. And that movie did not have the budget that they wanted to do for that movie. Like, think about if they had the budget for that movie and what they could have done with all those creature effects near the end and stuff. It would have been insane. I would like to see what happened after that theater moment, you know? Like, pick up exactly where In the Mouth of Madness leaves off. Jamie Hart says, I'm a huge fan of champagne. Heck yeah, well, I'll drink to that. What's your favorite champagne, Jamie? I don't really have a favorite. It just has to be good. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to, you know, be cheap. It just has to be good. That's all I ask. Sometimes I get tired of like drinking beer or having an old fashioned or something like that, you know, like just drink some damn champagne. Why not? Why do we only drink champagne when we're celebrating something, or it's New Year's Eve, or it's a wedding, or something like that? No, I'm bringing it back, or I'm starting it. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. Um, Rawhead Nick says, "In the Mouth of Madness" is way underrated as well. Yeah, dude, we used to watch that all the time. I felt like we were the only people that knew what that movie was when it came out. But super great ideas. That movie's really cool, really cool. Dominic St. Clair says Event Horizon is such a good film. Event Horizon has such a Dead Space feel. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I would love to see a Dead Space movie. I like horror survival type stuff like that. Those are like my favorite type of games. But Event Horizon is like, oh, I feel like I want to watch that like right now. Maybe that'd be a good watch party movie. That needs more recognition. What up, Larry? Jim Warner says, I love the Wishmaster franchise. I have the entire Wishmaster franchise. I have the entire Wishmaster franchise, and I've yet to revisit all of them. I've been meaning to watch them all, and I think I've only seen the first movie back in the day. I haven't, and I want to revisit that and then watch all the sequels. And I always said that I was going to do a marathon of it and talk about it, like a watch party, and do one by one. So maybe I can still do that. That's an idea. Jen, that's an idea for a watch party. Hell yeah. Let's see here. Scream Rat said, I got one. Tales from the Hood, underrated gem. Okay, you got me. You got me, Scream Rat. I have actually rented Tales from the Hood, but I never watched it. And then and it wasn't because I didn't want to watch it. I just for some reason never got around to watching it when I did rent it. So it got returned, and I never rented it again. And everyone tells me about how good it was. But that's one movie. Didn't they make a sequel recently, or in the last 5-10 years? I don't know. I need to watch Tales from the Hood. You got me on that one. I can't speak on that behalf. Jim Warner says, I Know What You Did Last Summer was fun. Yes, it was. It is. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. There's some questionable things in it that's like, really? You're going to do that? A little cheesy. A little unbelievable here and there, but definitely fun. Definitely fun. I feel like they could do it better. I feel like I Know What You Did Last Summer. The show sucked. The show absolutely sucked. That came out, I think it was Amazon. I couldn't even get through it. I went on YouTube and just watched the ending just because I want to know who it was. I was like, man, what? This isn't I Know What You Did Last Summer. This is so hard to get through. I would like to see them, maybe do a direct sequel to the second one or the first one. Bring back Freddie Prinze Jr., bring back Jennifer Love Hewitt, bring back Ben Willis, whoever the guy, what was his name? Muse Watson or something like that was his name, the fisherman. Fun fact, I still know what he did last summer. The boat captain that Freddie Prinze Jr. steals the boat from was, in fact, my acting coach back in Memphis. He was Red West. That was his name. He was Elvis's bodyguard. He was in a bunch of Elvis movies. He had a studio that a lot of people went to, and yeah, he was my acting coach in my teens. And I talked to him a lot about I Know What You Did Last Summer. Sat down and talked to him mainly about Jennifer Love Hewitt because she was like my crush growing up, especially from like Can't Hardly Wait, Know What You Did Last Summer, just all that. And then he's told me a bunch of stuff about Elvis too, which was really interesting. But he's passed away now. Rest in peace, Red. Creepin 666 is in the house. Man, that is a scary picture. Wow. I almost jumped out of my seat. I can't even read right now. 90's, another great decade of horror. I Know What You Did Last Summer. I enjoyed a crush on Jennifer. I just said that. Yeah, Creepin 666. Absolutely, and welcome. Great choice. I mean, you can't, when you think about 90's horror, you cannot leave out I Know What You Did Last Summer. You really can't. I mean, however you feel about I Know What You Did Last Summer, you cannot just ignore it and act like it wasn't a big part of the horror genre um, throughout the 90s. It was up there. It was up there. And it was good for what it was. It's one of the better slasher movies. And there's not really even a whole lot of killing in it if you really think about it. It's like every now and then until like the climax. Um, Jamie Hart says Idle Hands was fun. Yeah, it was. I like Idle Hands. That and then you got like the Offspring doing the soundtrack, and then they're actually in the movie and stuff. I just like the feel. I thought it was a fun movie. Dominic St. Clair Studios Destiny. Have you noticed there aren't any Final Destination fan films? I have a fan film Final Destination script that has creative kills and a very disturbing premonition. Oh, really? Dude, hit me up. Hit me up on Instagram or in my messages, however you can get to me here on YouTube, whatever. I would like to hear it, dude. Or you can put it in here. I'm pretty sure a lot of other people would like to hear it too. There aren't any fan films of Final Destination, which is kind of hard to do, you know? Like, I don't want to go. I mean, like, you could do it, you could execute it right, but you know, I mean, it's pretty, you know, like risky. What am I going to do? Go make someone go stand out in front of a bus and hope maybe not get hit, or a truck or a car? Like, I mean, that's probably the reason why they haven't done it. But there's a way to do it. There's absolutely a way to do it. You know what? I might be the first because I like making short films. If no one has seen my short film I put out right before Halloween, it's called A Nightmare Before Halloween. It's pretty much Freddy Krueger versus Michael Myers. Go check it out. It's on my channel. A lot of fun, nothing serious, just a little 10-minute short film to have fun with. And I got another one coming out called A Halloween Christmas, and it's going to have Michael Myers and the Grinch. So be looking out for that one. Let's see here. Scream Rat says Tales from the Crypt Demon Eye. Oh, bro, great pick. Great pick, man. That movie does not get enough recognition. I absolutely liked those Tales from the Crypt movies. Those were a lot of fun, especially Demon Knight. Demon Knight, Billy Zane as the head demon is epic, absolutely epic. And you got Jada Pinkett Smith in there, among others. There's a lot of familiar faces in there. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It's a small setting. Kind of has a From Dusk Till Dawn type of vibe, you know, but with demons, and really cool. I always like those movies that are like a small setting, you know, like you're isolated in one area and you can't get out, and that's where the writing has to come in. You got to make everyone interesting, and you got to keep everybody back and forth, and you got this thread outside, you know, like The Strangers or something. Like, I love those type of movies. Like, I want to stay in the moment. I want to feel what they're feeling. I want to feel what our characters are feeling. Keep us there. I don't want to jump all over the damn place. Jim Warner says the Buffy movie was horrible. Yeah, it pretty much was, but it still has some charm to it. There's still moments of really funny stuff. Yeah, absolutely. David Arquette, though. I got to show some love to David Arquette for sure. I saw Buffy at the theater. Oh, wow. Awesome. I remember seeing it. I think I only saw it at home. I love the series, but the original movie sucked. Yeah, they're kind of different. But I don't know. Maybe it's just a nostalgic thing to me. I find enjoyment out of it. I love the part where Paul Rubens gets stabbed, and he's like kicking the wall near the end. He won't die. He's like, and then he falls over and pauses, and then he goes, and starts kicking the wall. I don't know. It's just stupid, funny stuff. Rawhead Nick, it was a time where movies weren't afraid to get their hands dirty with the harsh realities of life. I lived in the projects for a while. Candyman holds a place in my heart because of its accuracy. That's one thing. Yeah, and you're absolutely right, Nick. Yeah, they weren't, you know, same thing with the 80s, like 80s and 90s, like they pulled no punches. They were down and dirty, and I felt like more creative. I don't know. It just had a different feel to it. Maybe it was because they got like 30-year-olds to play teenagers. I don't know. I don't know what it was, but it was good. I mean, if you can get better actors, you know, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like in some of these movies, like, okay, for instance, like for one, and I'm not going to talk too much about this movie, but Scream 4, okay? Scream 4 with its killers and how small they were and how high schooly they were, I just couldn't buy the damage that they did. And you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like some of these horror movies that come out now, I'm like, man, these kids are really looking young. And maybe I prefer my high schoolers having, you know, 25, 30-year-olds playing them or something, you know? Maybe you can get some better acting out of them. Maybe, you know, something. I don't know. Josh Hartnett needs to come back. Let's say that, you know, let's bring that back. Josh Hartnett was a really good 90s. Halloween H2O, you know, The Faculty. Man, he was great. Dominic St. Clair Studio says Ghost in the Machine is another cool 90s slasher. Ghost in the Machine. I don't know if I've seen that one. I remember a movie called The Mangler. Does anybody remember that movie? The Mangler. It had Robert Englund in it, and it had what's his name? Who played Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs? He was the main actor, and the Mangler was like this machine that would eat people. It was like at this factory. Robert Englund had like this glass eye and a cane, and he was pretty much the bad guy over this company. I can't remember everything about it. I'm going to get that movie. I have not seen it in so long, and you just brought it back to me. Is that the movie you're talking about, or is this a completely different movie? That's what I remember, The Mangler. And then like near the end, it like comes alive and starts chasing people and stuff. I'm pretty sure it looks really bad on screen now, but yeah. Anybody remember the movie The Virus with Jamie Lee Curtis? Anybody? Donald Sutherland, where they go on the ship and like there's like everything's like alien and all these electronics come together and it's like forming into like robots, and they're like putting robot parts into the people, and then they were coming alive. Like that was a very interesting, not the greatest movie, but it was a very interesting idea. And it's one Jamie Lee Curtis movie that doesn't really get talked about a lot. But I enjoyed it for what it was. Felt like it could have been like a video game. Like it'd be a really good concept for a video game. The sequels to Dracula 2000 were terrible. Didn't they have like a martial artist being Dracula in one of them? I can't remember if it was the second sequel or the third sequel. One of them. Yeah, I don't remember them being too memorable. Jim Warner says, I have the trilogy but never watched the sequels. Ooh, another watch party. Maybe we'll watch all three of them, you know, one a week to try to get through it. Right, Demon Knight is one of my favorites. My first time seeing Billy Zane, he was a damn trip. Yeah, that part where he jumps out the window and does that real country accent or whatever. I don't even know what he says. Oh, Jamie Hart said Dolores Claiborne. That's the name. Jamie, thank you for that. Why did I say Liz Claiborne? Is that like a brand or something? I don't know. Sorry. Feeling dumb right now. Dominic St. Clair Studio says Arachnophobia is 90s horror. Yes, it is. And they're coming out with another one. I think James Wan is attached to it, at least producing it. I don't know if he wrote it or if he's going to direct it. I don't know who's attached to direct it, but they're supposed to be bringing back Arachnophobia. And I don't know if it's just a remake or a requel or a reboot, whatever the hell. Bring Jeff Daniels back if you can get him. But Arachnophobia, ooh, if you don't like spiders, Jeff Goldblum as the exterminator, yeah, super fun movie. So many bangers in the 90s. Yes, there was. Dominic St. Clair Studio says, From Dusk Till Dawn goes from a crime story to a vampire story. Yeah, I like it though. I like those transition movies. Like the first half is one movie, and then you don't know. It's just like just something happens, in the middle of the movie, and it just transitions into something else. And it's like, whoa! It's like we're almost getting like two movies in one, and it's really cool. Jamie Hart said Carpenter's Vampires is my favorite. Yeah, I've grown to like that movie more. When I first saw it, because there's a lot of vampire movies coming out. When I first saw it in the theater, I felt like it was a little overrated. Like I was like, okay, it's okay. I wanted like more badass action, but there wasn't. But now that I watched it recently, uh, I got a lot more appreciation for it. It's definitely a good movie. It's definitely up there. James Woods, it's Vampire Hunter, awesome, super awesome. That'd have been funny if they got Gerard Butler to play the vampire in that movie as well. My favorite vampire movie is The Lost Boys, hands down. The Lost Boys. Please do a sequel, right? Rawhead Nick said Selma's dance scene made puberty hit for a lot of boys. Oh, Nick, yeah. Let's see here. Down at St. Clair Studios, Robert Rodriguez is good at making horror where Tarantino makes a good crime dialogue. Yeah, they're a good duo. They're a great duo. Could you imagine Quentin Tarantino doing a Scream movie or a Halloween movie? Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino doing something like that. Could you imagine how long the dialogue between Ghostface and the victim would be if Quentin Tarantino wrote that damn movie? I mean, that shit would go on forever. It'd be like half the damn movie. I mean, that just say Drew Barrymore's scene at the first in the first film. That would have been half the damn movie. Quentin Tarantino, he has some very lengthy scenes of dialogue, which I like. But I don't know about the Scream or some of my other horror properties. From Dusk Till Dawn sequels were fun, but they did not hold up. Yeah, they didn't. Not at all. I would like to see another one though, like taken seriously, like maybe a direct sequel to the original. Rawhead says, got 13 people in here and only 7 likes. Let's get those likes up. Thanks, buddy. Absolutely. We're at 14 likes right now. Appreciate that. Yeah, if you're just stopping in, I said it earlier, just hit that like button before you head out. I really, really appreciate it. Helps out the channel a lot. Helps out that algorithm. We're all facing an uphill battle with that with YouTube's algorithm. It's ridiculous. From Dusk Till Dawn is Aces, Jamie says. Yes, it is. Scott Walker's in the house. Do you think in Scream 7 will Stu buy his old house or not? Scott, we talked about this all the time on a lot of, even like the other night. I don't know if he'll buy it. I don't know if that'd be a big thing. I think he might be there. I don't know if he could inherit it, actually. Amber could somehow be related to him, and the house could still be in the family. Could be his niece or something. I don't know how they would play into it. But yeah, possibly. Jamie Hart says, Urban Legend is so good. Jamie, it really is. Urban Legend is one of the better slashers, and it's got a really good twist to it, one you didn't see coming. You got Jared Leto in that got You got Robert Englund in that movie as the professor, talking about urban legends, giving that creepy vibe. You got Danielle Harris in there as our final girl's roommate. You got Rebecca Gayheart in the movie. I mean, there's you got what's her name from American Pie? She's in there. We were just talking about her earlier. Help me out, chat. What's her name from American Pie that was in Urban Legend? Y'all know what I'm talking about. She did the DJ hosting or whatever in Urban Legend. Why can I not think of her name? Tara Reid. Okay. No one told me yet, but I remembered it. Scream Rat, I see you said it. All right, cool. Yeah, Tara Reid. Like that scene where she's chased and everything. That was a really great chase scene. And what happens behind her, and you see the flashes of light, and you see her co-host like getting killed in the back, kind of similar to what happened in Halloween Ends with the DJ. Like they kind of did the same thing there. But yeah, Urban Legend. Let's do a direct. I mean, the sequel wasn't as good. It had some creative kills, but it wasn't as good. Kind of leaned towards a goofy era. But Urban Legend took itself seriously, and it was fun, And some of the death scenes were great, and you got Joshua Jackson in there as well. I mean, do a direct sequel to that one, and keep it as a slasher element, or do it as a series. Screamer said, I need an Urban Legend reboot like now. Absolutely, man. Me too, bud. Me too. Rawhead Nick said they could take the American Horror Story approach with an Urban Legend series. I thought about that. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. They could do that. I think that's a big pop. That they could take some notes for sure. For sure. I think, just call it urban legend, but you keep it that slasher element. I mean, if you want to make like a season where it's like got some supernatural stuff in it, I mean, yeah, because some urban legend stuff is supernatural. So if you want to do that, I'm not gonna hurt on it, but hate on it or nothing. But I just like those slasher whodunits, like all the way down to the finale. Scott Walker says, since Amber has been killed in Scream 5, what do things going to happen to the house? Do you think her parents will sell it, or do you think I'm still living in it, or do you think they'll just abandon? I don't think it's going to be abandoned. It could. I mean, we could see something similar to what happened in Halloween Ends, where the little boy, falls from the banister, and that whole house was boarded up, and no one, it's kind of abandoned, and it was a nice house. Stu's house, since there's been 2 massacres in it now, from 1996 and then in Scream 5, they might not be able to sell it. So that's an idea right there, is that either I think Stu was always there in the attic, like Billy from Black Christmas, and maybe he was calling that phone whenever Sam was like, that one's for you, Richie, or something like that. Like, I don't know. I mean, I've heard different theories and stuff, but I always said, man, like, is Stu about to walk out? Where does Stu tie into this? And if he's upstairs, and if he was at that thing, the house, the entire time in the attic or something, hiding out, and then now they have 2 massacres, it's gonna be hard to sell that house. So maybe it does get abandoned. Maybe it does get, boarded up, and there's cobwebs and everything. And maybe that's where Stu can hide out now, because no one else is living there. So maybe he's hiding out in his old abandoned house because there's been 2 massacres there. I could believe that. Honestly, I could believe it. Skull Crusher says, I love the first Blade movie. Absolutely. Blade. I remember seeing Blade in the theater. That was such a cool movie. And Steven Dorff as the main bad guy. What a great villain. Great villain. Some of that CGI does not hold up to today. That was like, right around that Matrix era with the slow motion and stuff. But it was so cool with the martial arts. With Steven Dorff, really made that movie. The second one was great too, with Guillermo del Toro directing it. Third movie, I was not a big fan. I was not a fan of Trinity. But yeah, Blade was great. Blade was absolutely great. Yeah, we're talking about 90s movie tonight for sure, Scott. Yeah, I touched on this. Yeah, a little bit. I think she could have been nicer, just a little bit. Scream Rad, between Army of Darkness and Bride of Chucky. Oh, great pick. Oh, that's hard, man. That is hard. Army of Darkness is so great, and so is Bride of Chucky. Oh, why'd you have to do that to me, buddy? Hold on, I'm gonna have to sip some of my champagne for this one. I'm gonna have to think about it. Everybody else, what do y'all think? Army of Darkness or Bride of Chucky? This is my boomstick. Okay. Which one have I watched the most? Which one would I think I would watch both of them. I don't think I would. Man, that's so tough. I'm gonna have to. It's hard for me to do it because I love the Evil Dead franchise. I love Bruce Campbell. I love Army of Darkness. But I think I like Evil Dead 2 the most. I like them all, but I think Evil Dead 2 has a special place in my heart because I watched that at a very young age, and I rewatched that a lot, and I like that whole cabin in the woods type of feel. If I had to pick between Army of Darkness, if you would have said Evil Dead 2, which can't, 80s, Army of Darkness and Bride, I'd have to pick Bride of Chucky, man. Bride of Chucky. I have to. I that's a tough pick. You ask me tomorrow, it might be Army of Darkness. But right now, I'm going to say Bride of Chucky. I loved that movie when it came out. I thought it was a perfect blend of horror and comedy. I thought they did it well. I thought the visuals was great. I thought it was well directed. I thought it was just really creative. And I thought Chucky's lines in it were really well written. Seed of Chucky, not a big fan of, but Bride of Chucky, absolutely, absolutely. That was the last good Chucky film. um, I think I do. It might have been like a straight to DVD, Scott. I'm not quite sure. I have a theory that Tony Todd, that character, is Death's son, much like God's son and Jesus. Hey, that's a Dominic. That's a great idea, man. That something similar like that. Like yeah. Or he's just like, maybe he is Death or something. Yeah, but if he was like his son, yeah. You could work with that. I can see that. Oh, Rawhead already beat me to it. Evil Dead 2 is my favorite horror comedy. Dude, yeah. That's one of those movies we watched over and over, for sure. Evil Dead is like a must between us. If an Evil Dead movie's coming out, and a Halloween movie's coming out, and a Scream movie's coming out, like that's it. That's it. That's all you need in life. That's all you need in life. And y'all, we need each other. Ash's hand flipping him off through the hole in the wall was hilarious. Yeah, it was. Yep, that was a great scene. Horror comedy, Scary Movie 2, Jamie says. Great pick. Yeah, those were 90s. The first Scary Movie I liked a little bit more, but they're both great. Scary Movie 2 definitely has its moments of greatness. But I think maybe just because of its slasher, elements of horror in the first Scary Movie, I think that's why I like it more. So I might be a little biased on it. So, but yeah, great pick, Jamie. Creepin 666 says Dead Alive and Tremors are good ones. Ooh, yes. Never seen Dead Alive. Always wanted to see that one. Always wanted to see Dead Alive. I need to check that out. Tremors, Kevin Bacon, hell yeah. Fred Ward, man, what a great duo. Kevin Bacon thought that was the end of his career. And that's one of his most memorable, characters. Valentine. He just made that movie. And also, like, the creature effects was great. That's another low setting movie, small town. You got Reba McEntire in there. Just a whole lot. And that's another good movie that blends horror and comedy together and balances that tone with creature feature feel to it as well. It was just really, really well done. Tremors is a classic. Tremors is a must own in your house. It's got to go on your shelf. It's got to go on your VCR. It's got to go on your DVD, Blu-ray player, projector, whatever you watch your movies on. Streaming, all of the above. Great picks, Creeping. Scott Ward said there was a horror film just like Scream and Halloween. I know what you did last summer. It was called Shriek, and they had the actress who played in Baywatch. She played Caroline. I remember Shriek. I remember a knockoff of Scary Movie called Shriek. I know what you did last Friday the 13th or something like that, and it had Tiffany Amber Thiessen and Tom Arnold in it, and Coolio. Coolio was in it. I remember watching it once. I don't remember much about it. Is that the movie you're talking about? Shriek, I know what you did last Friday the 13th. Scream Rad. New Nightmare will always get ultra praise from me. Yes, it will. Absolutely. Absolutely, man. Like, let me see here. Hold on. Let me see. I see another good one right here. Jamie Hart says, special mention of Bordello of Blood. Yes. You got Tales from the Crypt, Bordello of Blood. I saw that in theaters too. My mom did not want me to see that one. I did not even know what a bordello was. But it was vampires, and it was fun. It wasn't as good as Demon Knight, but it's definitely got its moments of fun, and it didn't make as much as Demon Knight either. And they were going to make a third film. They were going to make a series of films, but Bordello of Blood did not perform that well. And it leaned more on the comedy side more than Demon Knight did. And then you got, what's his name? Corey Feldman's in it, in another vampire movie. I thought they could do some like Lost Boys stuff with him being in Lost Boys, and then in this, I thought they would have done, you know, some homages to it. They didn't. But it's good. It's a fun movie. It's a fun movie to watch. Fun fact: the lead actress who was the main vampire in that movie was Sylvester Stallone's girlfriend at that time, and that's how she got that part. Yeah. But yeah, great mention. Oh, they were supposed to do a third. I think they did eventually do a third movie, but it went straight to DVD. And the Crypt Keeper looked like dog shit. I mean, the Creeper looked like a damn, I don't know, like a puppet. And it was like I can't remember the name of it, but it was like a voodoo type of movie. And I didn't even know this movie even came out till years after, and nobody talked about it or anything. And it didn't go to theaters. It was like hush hush. I never even saw it on like the Walmart shelves. So I was like, it was just like a knockoff. It did say, you know, a Tales from the Crypt, but it just didn't look like Tales from the Crypt. I don't know how they got away with that. But it was like supposed to be a part of that whole trilogy or whatever. Those movie franchises, yeah. Dominic St. Clair says, Alien 3 is another one of my favorite 90s horror. Man, Dominic, all right, this is where we got to disagree, buddy. Not a fan of Alien 3. Not a fan of the direction they took. Not a fan of anything. It's hard for me to get through Alien 3. And I've tried to a few times over the years. I don't know, man. I don't like the cinematography. It's not fun, in my opinion. I just don't care. While I'm watching that movie, I just don't care. I just don't feel. It just feels like. It just doesn't feel like it's a part of the Alien universe. I mean, I know it is xenomorphs and stuff, but like, just in my opinion, it's like the last one I would watch. And I know a lot of people hate on Alien Resurrection. I would watch Alien Resurrection over Alien 3. Hey, I said it. Don't judge me. Nobody has mentioned Sleepy Hollow. Wasn't that in the 90s? 1999, actually. Sleepy Hollow, Tim Burton, Christina Ricci. Who else is in it? Anybody else seen it? You had to have seen it. Really good feel. That Sleepy Hollow doesn't get enough praise. I think that movie was really well done. Got a real good spooky feel to it. It does have some goofy stuff in it, but they don't go overboard with it. It's just a fun movie. And it came out in the late 90s. I remember seeing it in theaters, and I remember them coming out and talking about the movie before the movie even started, and it just kind of hyped me up a little bit, so maybe I'm a little biased. But I just really like Sleepy Hollow. Yeah, I see someone in the chat says it's Johnny Depp, Family Man Gaming. Yeah. I see you over here. I'll get down and highlight you in a minute. I'm trying to keep up with the chat. This thing is jumping all over the place. Yeah, you got it. Christopher Walken. Yeah, as the Headless Horseman. Great flashback scene. Great idea. It's even got a twist in it. It's kind of got a whodunit aspect to it if you really think about it. So yeah, Sleepy Hollow is definitely badass. And you know what? I'm gonna throw another one in here, and it's got horror elements. I mean, it's more action, adventure, horror, comedy. It's got a little bit of all that in there. The Mummy with Brendan Fraser. Nobody's mentioned The Mummy with Brendan Fraser. It's not a horror, but people die. A mummy is resurrected. People get killed. And yeah, it's got some dark elements to it, but it's definitely fun. Got a little Indiana Jones feel to it. And Brendan Fraser is phenomenal. That guy, I'm so glad to see the praise he's getting back. You know, like bringing his spirits back, man, because that was a broken man for years. And I'm so glad to see he's coming back, man. Love that dude. Encino Man. Not a horror movie, but, you know, have you ever seen the Pauly Shore movie Encino Man with Sean Astin, Pauly Shore, and Brendan Fraser, where Brendan Fraser is a caveman? Check it out. One of my favorite comedies. Scream Rat says, I love how dark and creepy he was in New Nightmare. Hell, you even got to see Wes Craven in the movie be all creepy. Instant chills. I know when Wes Craven was on there and he was just like talking to Heather Langenkamp, I was like, man, just like, I just want to sit right there. Just tell me a story, Wes. I wish I could have met Wes Craven. I'm going to be able to meet John Carpenter in May, so I'm really looking forward to that. But I wish I could meet Wes Craven. I really do. He just seems like he was just a humble guy, very full of creativity and positivity. And I've heard nothing but great things about that man. And he has a wild imagination, and he is, in my opinion, one of the kings of horror. Let's see here. Let's see what else y'all got. I maintain to this day that Freddy and New Nightmare became the Jinn in Wishmaster. Oh, okay. That's a great theory, Jen. I need to rewatch Wishmaster. We got to watch that. I need to check that out. I have not seen it in a long time. Actually, what's his name who played Wishmaster? He's going to be at Texas Frightmare as well, I saw. So I might have the chance to be able to meet him as well. I guess I need to watch Wishmaster before May. I remember we would buy a ticket for one movie, and we spent the whole day jumping to different movies. Yeah, we did, Nick. That was the main reason why I started working at the movie theater, was because I wanted free movies. I didn't give a damn about, getting paid. The money. I was like, man, I'm gonna spend all my money on movies anyways, and I get free movies and free popcorn. Heck, I'm not going home. And we'd watch movies like after hours, like me and the crew at the theater. Like we get the whole theater to ourselves. Like everybody be gone, and we just pop on the projector. That was before everything went digital, and they locked it like hours or 24 hours before the movie actually released. We would sit there and we would watch movies. I saw Freddy vs. Jason before it came out. I saw the 2004 remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I saw so many movies that was super awesome. But yes, we would do that, Nick. We would buy one ticket and we would jump from movie to movie, watching everything in one day. Everything that we could, at least. Those were the days. Dominic, Wes Craven's New Nightmare would have been more better if was actual sequel to the original. Nancy lives in Los Angeles with her husband, and Freddy comes back to kill her. Yeah, maybe, but I'm not gonna hate on it. I do want to see Nancy come back as just regular Nancy. I think that if they ever do bring back A Nightmare on Elm Street, I think that they need to do an original. I think they need to do a requel to the original and bring back Heather Langenkamp. She won't be the main. She won't be our final girl, but she'll be a supporting cast. She'll be there, but we're following somebody else, and she's there. And even though I love Nightmare on Elm Street 2, I know that gets a lot of hate, but I love it. That's the scariest Freddy's ever been. And Nightmare 3, Dream Warriors, is a fan fave. I love it, but we know what happens at the end of that movie. Doesn't mean it's not good. I appreciate them, but let's do a direct sequel to the first Nightmare on Elm Street, and let's get back on that horror tone. Let's get back to that serious, creepy vibe. That's how we rolled back in the day. Yeah, we did, buddy. Yeah, we did. Scott Walker, would you call The Ghost in the Darkness a horror movie or just another killer? That's definitely in horror. It's a creature feature, even though it is somewhat of a true story. Great movie. Val Kilmer, Michael Douglas. That's one of the more serious creature feature movies. They took that movie serious. Great cinematography. Everything looked and felt real, on location. No green screens or anything like that. That's when movies were great, where they weren't always on a damn sound stage and everything was so CGI heavy. That movie was so good. If you have not seen The Ghost, it's actually The Ghost and The Darkness. Check it out. One of the better killer lion movies out there. If you've seen that movie Beast recently, The Ghost in the Darkness is way better than Beast. Even though the Beast was pretty good with Idris Elba. That was pretty good. But The Ghost in the Darkness, hands down, it's hard to beat that. Dominic said, would it be nuts if this new Scream trilogy is all a part of the Stab films and wasn't real? Man, I don't like that idea. Definitely don't want that. That would just piss us off, right? Screamer said, check out Dylan's New Nightmare, guys. When it comes out, don't sleep on it. Dave McRae is going to kill it as Freddy. Yes, he is. Man, he's good. Dave McRae, I've talked to him back and forth a few times. I would love to be on his channel and possibly him on mine. Great guy. Great channel, too. He has some really good stories. Very, very talented individual as well. Rawhead says, "Oh, Ghost in the Darkness was a good one. If Cujo is horror, then I'd say it qualifies." Yeah, absolutely. What about? I'm gonna mix it up for a minute, okay? Since we're talking all these creature features, let's talk about creature features. What's your favorite '90s creature features? I got one. Deep Blue Sea. LL Cool J, Thomas Jane, Samuel Jackson, among others. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Rennie Harlan directed it. Same person who did Die Hard. Not the first Die Hard, Die Hard 2. And he also did Mindhunters right after Deep Blue Sea, which I guess that would have fell into 2000, 2001 or something. That's a whodunit. That did not. That actually got shelved for a long time because they didn't get to finish the movie, and then they released it. So the ending is a little rushed, but really good mystery movie. Great whodunit if you like those type of movies. Deep Blue Sea was so much fun in the theater. I think I saw it like 5 times. That's how much I liked it. Yeah, the CGI gets ridiculous and all that kind of stuff, but it's definitely a fun movie. Great idea too, with the whole facility just flooding. It's so cool. And Thomas Jane, that was like our introduction really to Thomas Jane. Lake Placid back in the day. Species. Anybody remember Species? What else? What's some other good creature features? Lake Placid was a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie. Wasn't enough kills in that movie though. I wanted that crocodile to tear some people up, and we only got a couple kills. It did take down a bear in a gnarly way. Let's see here. I seen the picture of McRae with Freddy makeup, and oh, he looks a lot like Robert's Freddy. Yeah, I hope Robert gives some like recognition to it. You know, like get it to Robert Englund. Like let him tweet it out or something. That'd be super cool. Scott Walker says, I was 5 or 6 years old when I saw Scream for the first time. I had to watch it with my older sister. Why do you think my mom wanted let me watch it when I was that young for the first time? I mean, there's reasons why. I mean, like a lot of parents, I think I watched it when I was like 11. Yeah, my mom wasn't crazy about it either, but I still watched it. There's ways around it. I can see why parents wouldn't want, especially that opening scene with Drew Barrymore, just the way that's executed. Immediately, a parent would be like, no, my 5-year-old's not watching this. Exorcist 3 is a good 90s horror. Yeah, it is. That's got one of the best, craziest jump scares in cinema, in my opinion. Honestly. Because your mom's awesome. Moe, oh yeah, okay, cool, yeah, that's some good stuff. Scott Walker also says, what's your honest opinion? What do you think of the idea of horror movie version of Peter Pan? Do you think I'd be a good idea, different, be scary? Do you think it would ruin the legend of Peter Pan? I don't know. I mean, you could take some aspects of Peter Pan, don't call it Peter Pan, but there's definitely something you could play with there as far as Peter Pan. You could turn Peter Pan into like a vampire story, which they kind of did, the Lost Boys, you know, the Lost Boys and Peter Pan. That was the idea there. But with that character of Peter Pan flying to the window and meeting Wendy and all that kind of stuff, you could work with something like that. But no, I don't want to see a Peter Pan horror movie. These things are getting ridiculous. We got the Grinch, the Mean One horror movie coming out. We got the Winnie the Pooh horror movie coming out. I mean, what's next? Which we will be watching those on the channel, and I will be giving my review. I got to do it. Event Horizon has such a good cliffhanger. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it does. A really good cliffhanger. Oh, okay, cool. Oh, yeah, I remember y'all doing that. That's right. Awesome. Rawhead says, the OG Blair Witch Project, it changed the game and really kicked off the found footage niche. I didn't play in the woods for a while. It definitely did. Yeah. I even liked Blair Witch 2. Even though that, like, you watch it now, like, yeah, it's definitely, it's like, it's unfocused. But, like, the way the movie first starts out and how the group gets together, and it's got that fall feel, and then you got that Marilyn Manson music going on. It's just got that creepy feel to it. I just wanted the ending to, they just didn't land the ending. I wanted to see where it was going to go, but I was having a lot of fun with it. in theaters. Scott says, what are the similarities between I Know What You Did Last Summer and Scream? Slashers. That's about it. Not much. That's right, Jim. Dominic says, would you have liked if Freddie Prinze Jr. was the killer and I Know What You Did Last Summer? They throw red herrings thinking that it was Ben Willis. Yeah, actually, I think that movie would have hit a little bit better with audiences if Freddie Prinze Jr. was the killer, you know, or if it was somebody that we've been introduced to. That's the thing. It's like when we find out that it's the fisherman and he survived this entire time, we never really got a good look at his face, so we didn't know what to believe by this guy. So, in my opinion, it's not really a whodunit, but it played it out like a whodunit, but it really wasn't. You know, it needed that extra twist, like maybe it needed something. It needed something there at the end. But yeah, Freddie Prinze Jr. What if Freddie Prinze Jr. was related to him, or they were working together? Something, I don't know. Both movie stars, TV stars from Party of Five. Yeah, that is the similarity of it. Jamie, you're always on it. You know your 90s horror for sure, or your 90s actors as well. Hell yeah. Scream Rat says Valentine was awesome, loved it. Came out in 2001, but it had that 90s feel and then had a pretty good soundtrack. Yeah, it was over in the 2000s, just like Final Destination, but it definitely has that 90s DNA all over it. I'll give it a pass. I got one here for you. Let me mix it up a little bit. Has anyone ever seen the movie Ravenous from 1999? Guy Pearce. Anybody ever seen that movie? Let me know if you've seen Ravenous and what you thought about it. If you don't know anything about this movie, check it out. It is super crazy. The less you know, the better. David Arquette's in it as well, now that I think about it. David Arquette's in it. What a coincidence. Yeah, Ravenous. It might still be on Netflix. Check it out. But it's from the 1999. I think there was another Ravenous movie that came out that had nothing to do with it. So don't get them mixed up if you are checking it out. Let's see here. And you have Jada Pinkett Smith and Demon Knight. She did pretty well in that one. Yeah, she was a pretty good final girl. I'll give her that. That's one movie I did like Jada in. She kicked ass a little bit. Family Man Gaming. I know it's not really horror, but I loved Spawn. It was a very dark movie with some horror undertones. Yeah, it was. Martin? Yeah, heck yeah. Welcome to the party, pal. Yeah, Spawn definitely did have that. I don't know how much the CGI would age today, and I know they've been talking about Jamie Foxx coming back and playing Spawn, or going to play Spawn eventually. We had Michael J. White playing Spawn back then. But yeah, it did have some horror tones. I'll give it a pass. Yeah, I mean, if it's got some horror elements to it, you know, it lands in the 90s, then it deserves it. Let's see here. I got one for you. Y'all ready for this? The greatest horror movie of the 90s. Y'all want to know what it is? Y'all ever seen? It's from year 1990. It's called Troll 2. Anybody ever seen Troll 2? And I'm only kidding. But that movie is something. I might have to do a watch party of how ridiculous that movie is. It's down as like one of the most cringiest movies. There's just stuff all over the internet about it. But yeah, if you ever seen Troll 2, let me know what you think about it. That's crazy. That's a really crazy movie. But yeah, definitely not the greatest, but it's definitely worth a watch just for the ridiculousness. Would anybody consider the Mark Wahlberg film Fear from 1996? Would anybody consider that as a horror? I think it has some horror elements to it. It's got some thriller, you know. It's got some stuff. It's got some really like creepy stuff in there, you know. Like that's one of Mark Wahlberg's best performances, period, and acting. I don't care what anybody says. Like, he played a psycho boyfriend. Super good. And it's really got a 90s feel all over it as well. Let's see here. Dominic St. Clair says the premise is a college student. Rob has a premonition about a map. Oh, we're talking about your idea of Final Destination. Okay, let's see here. The premise is a college student, Rob, has a premonition about a mass shooting in his college. He then leaves the campus with a group of people and turns out he's right. Ooh, I don't know how that would go over with audiences today. They're so sensitive. So, but great idea so far. 1 year later, him and the group are picked off one by one by death, and he tries to figure out how to stop death once and for all. Okay, I see where you're going with that. Yeah, that would touch that. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I think we need some more years before we make something like that. I mean, which they do make movies that are more serious in tone about, school shootings and stuff like that. So, but with it's all about how it's executed. But yeah, great idea. Family Man Gaming, with the current climate, that would be hard to not get hated on by a lot of people for that premise. I personally don't hold the opinion, but others people will. Yeah, absolutely. Scream Rad, that's how Tales from the Hood is for me. It tells the harsh realities of living in the hood from a horror perspective. Oh, okay, yeah. Friday did that to me. Or Boys in the Hood. Harsh realities in the hood, like I don't know. I need to check out Tales from the Hood, honestly. I've always wanted to watch it, just never got around to it for some reason. I don't know why. Did it ever get a Blu-ray release or anything? I'm just curious. Family, there's an explanation of how the shooter. Oh, okay. There are some movies that are, about school shootings and stuff like that. Has anyone seen the movie? What is it? Run, Hide, Fight, or Hide? Run, Hide, or Fight, or Hide, Run, Fight, something like that. It's got the girl. It's got Thomas Jane in it, and it's got the girl from Yellowstone, 1988, or whatever that show is. Before she got into that show, it's about a school shooting and stuff. It's kind of like Die Hard in the school, but it came out like last year or 2 years ago or something. Run, Hide, Fight. Check it out. Look it up. As a 90s kid myself, the 1990s had the best movies, especially horror films. There was a werewolf movie called Bad Moon. Ooh, with a dog. Ben the hero. I remember that. I went to theaters to watch that. Man, you just flooded me with memories. I remember going to see that. Yeah, I need to rewatch that. And the kid in that movie was the kid from Dennis the Menace. I always remember that. Like when I went to see the movie, I was like, "Oh, this is Dennis the Menace," with Walter Matthau and Christopher Lloyd. Anyone seen that movie? Probably showing my age here. No one has mentioned The Sixth Sense. M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong directed it. One of the best movies, but once you know the twist, like, how mad would you be with the internet today if The Sixth Sense was trying to come out and that ending got spoiled? Oh man, that's where that movie really like hit home. Like The Sixth Sense, like put M. Night Shyamalan on the map. I had to hunt just to find Basketball Diaries online to buy. No streaming service offered it because of the score. Oh wow, I've never seen that movie. I need to see it too. Isn't Leo DiCaprio in that? And that's like my favorite actor of all time. I need to check that out. Ghost in the Machine, that inspired The Matrix. I wouldn't call it a slasher or even horror. Oh, okay. Family Man Gaming says Werewolf from Paris. Yeah. American Werewolf from Paris. Kind of like American Werewolf in London. Yeah, that had Tom Everett Scott. He was the drummer in That Thing You Do with Tom Hanks. If y'all ever seen that movie. Yeah, that was like the female vampire werewolf. We don't get enough werewolf movies, horror werewolf movies. Please come back. But yeah, that was pretty good. I don't think the CGI would hold up today. I remember it being kind of bad when the movie came out. I was like, that looks kind of rough. But yeah, it was fun for what it was. I always remember like an awkward Smash Mouth song being placed in that movie, and it was just like so out of left field. Wasn't the greatest, but I really liked it. Yeah, and Bush was on the soundtrack. Virus was a fun movie. Yeah, dude. I think we went and saw, Nick. I think we went and saw Virus at the movie theater, if I'm not mistaken. We used to watch horror movies at the theater every weekend. American Werewolf in Paris. I mean, yeah. I knew what you meant, Martin. Let's see here. Dominic St. Clair Studios. Ghost in the Machine is about a serial killer that dies, then his soul is transferred into machines to kill people. That was on his last list before he died. Okay. Is this like an anime thing or something? Or loosely based off of anime? I'm not sure. I've never heard of it. Family Man Gaming says, what about Lawnmower Man? Ooh, good pick. Lawnmower. I have not thought about that movie in years, bro. Man. Yeah. They could, if they remade the Lawnmower Man, today, there's so much they could do with that. And you know what? And that brings me to my next topic. Has anybody, this is one of my favorite 90s horror movies, and I'm not joking. And I never see anybody talking about this at all. I had to bring it to Mike and Jay, we watched the movies, attention about it, because I think only Mike saw it, but Jay's never even heard of it. But and they did a review about it years ago, but it was it had Edward Furlong in it, and it's called Brain Scan. Anybody seen Brain Scan? Oh, 90s flair all over it, even like the mood, the dread, the music. Edward Furlong, you know, it was so good. It was just such a good, the trickster in it, like the idea of the movie, is like Edward Furlong's character is really big into gaming, and there's like this new horror game out or something, and it's kind of like you put it in. It's kind of like it was like VR before VR was VR. It's kind of ahead of its time as well. And you sit in this chair and you kind of pretty much black out. You black out, and then it cuts to like first-person view, and it's somebody sneaking into a house and then killing somebody, and then taking a trophy, like cutting off their feet or cutting off their fingers or something. And then Edward Furlong would wake up, and he'd think it was just a game, and he'd be like, "Wow, that was a real trip." Come to find out, there's like law enforcement and detectives, and they're wheeling out dead bodies into the ambulance across the street. So somebody just killed his neighbor. And then the detectives are thinking that he did it because he just seems suspicious. And come to find out, like it's a game, but it's like reality as well. And then there's like this trickster guy that comes out of the game, and he kind of reminds you of like Freddy Krueger or Howie Mandel from Little Monsters. Kind of got that feel from him. Really cool movie, and I really think that it needs a lot more praise, a lot more recognition, and I think that they could do a lot with it if they brought that movie back and they remade it. The Lost Boys is the shit. Yes, it is. That's one of the best, but that was the 80s. We're going to do a 80s live stream horror as well. Jamie Hart said, I love The Lost Boy. I saw that in the theater too. Yeah. Wow. Jamie, you've seen some really good movies in the theater. I'm jealous. I'm peanut butter and jealous. Wow, I would love to see The Lost Boys in theater. Jim Warner says, I have to see The Lost Boys. Yes, you do, Jen. Absolutely. Absolutely. It is so good. And it's kind of got a whodunit aspect to it as well, if you think about it. But some really great performances. Blends horror and comedy perfectly, kind of like the first Scream. Dominic St. Clair Studio says, the shooter is the last on death's list, and the train accident that happened 6 months prior to the shooting, he was told by Tony Todd's character. Oh, okay. Interesting, Dominic. I like the idea. Very creative. Skyward says, wherever see a remake of Urban Legend? Hopefully. I don't know. I think, yeah, I mean, just make another one. Like, you don't really have to, it doesn't have to be a remake. It could be its own thing. Just cover other urban legends and make it a slasher whodunit. Wow, I must be behind on the chat here. I'm just not catching up. I try to give everybody some shine. And if you're just passing through, smash that like button, please, before you head out or anything. I see the watch is going up and down all over the place. So I know it's probably getting late for some of you, but this has been a great talk. This has been a great night of Night Screams, our Friday night hangouts. and I'm really enjoying this. And you know, we might have to do another 90s live stream because I mean, there's just so much to talk about, and these are my favorite movies. I love to talk about. My wife always says, "You're stuck in the 90s. You live in the 90s." Hell yeah, because it's pure happiness there. That's what I think. Um, let's see here. Scream Red, you think that was an urban legend reference in Halloween Ends when the girl was getting killed in the background? I don't think it was a reference, Scream Red, but I think that they stole it a little bit. I think they took the idea, you know, because I mean, urban legend was so far back, you know, they had to have known. They probably said like, "Oh, this is a great time to do something like this." So I'm pretty sure it was inspired by. Absolutely, Scream Red. Dominic St. Clair Studios, that he needs to take as many lives as possible. Each life adds a certain amount of years, and that they. Wow, yeah, you really giving this some thought. That's crazy. Let's see here. All right. Let's see. Scott Walker, what do you think of the idea of a Scream video game with all the characters from each other film, and at the end of the game, we figure who the killer or killers is doing to? What do you think? Yeah, if it is a Scream video game, I've always said that would be a great, like, if they could blend like Clue mixed with Scream, but it'd be like Scream theme. And if they, the way that I've thought about this for a long time, if they did do a Scream, and it was like online based on, and it's kind of like Among Us, you know, like that kids game that's kind of like Who's the Imposter, but it's like this one, Who's Ghostface. And like every time you get online, like there's different maps. There's like Stu's house, there's the high school, you know, there could be like a farmhouse, you know, different areas of the film throughout the franchise. But every time you play, it's all online based, and one of us are the killer, and we have to sneak around and take people out before they figure out who you are, find out who Ghostface is. And I would like the gameplay to be kind of like if you've seen the new Hitman games, like the way that is, how he sneaks around and has to hide in closets, or he has to hide in a dumpster. You know, I don't want to see Ghostface hide in a dumpster, but like there's secret passages, all this kind. You know, we could do Milton's house from Scream 3 with all those secret passages and stuff. Like there'd just be different levels to this, you know. But every single time, kind of like that Friday the 13th game, every time it was random. Somebody played as Jason, had to go, and then you had the survivors. So yeah, it'd be like the survivors versus Ghostface, but we don't know which one of us is Ghostface. That's the twist to it all. I think that'd be a lot of fun if they could really play it right. And I've always, and while I got some of y'all here, I've always wanted to do, and I've always wanted to do like a live stream with a lot of us live streamers, you know, that, you know, like Craving Something Scary, Night Watch Zone, a bunch of us get together and we do a similar whodunit stream, and we let y'all vote in the chat of who it is, kind of playing the game Guess Who. And we have this whole aspect like where we have one person that's the narrator that isn't a part of the game, that's like they're the ones that died, they're the death scene, and we leave it up to the chat to figure out which one of us are the ones that actually who done it. Like we could do a couple rounds every time we do a live stream. Like that's a concept I'm working on that will probably come to the channel in the future. So I'm open to ideas as well. So if y'all want to shoot me some ideas, like I really would think that'd be something fun with all of y'all. And you know, this is a community, this is a family here. So I want to, if it's something that y'all would like and enjoy, then I want to create it. You know, I don't really see anybody else doing like a whodunit live chat here. So yeah, what do you guys think? And shoot some ideas out there. I'd love to hear them. It's still in the works. Let's see here. Jamie Hart says, I love Trinity. I love Parker Posey when she's being an evil bitch. And Ryan Reynolds makes me tingle in those special plays. Oh my God. Okay. All right. I feel you. Yeah, I forgot Parker Posey was in that. Yeah, she was good in that. She did her part. I loved her in Scream 3. She made Scream 3 really. And but yeah, I just didn't like the fighting style. I didn't like the cinematography. It started becoming a little bit superhero-y. and too comedic a little bit. And I remember some of the CGI not really working for me. I need to I need to revisit it, Chick. I'll give you that. I need to revisit it. I just remember not being a big fan, and I know that Wesley Snipes was pretty upset because he was not a part of the choreography, and he feels like that's why the movie failed. Was they wouldn't allow him to be a part of the choreography. But yeah, need to check it out. Need to check it out again. Wasn't one of the wrestlers in that movie too, like Triple H or something? I can't remember. Army of Darkness for sure. Army of Darkness is classic. Classic. Anybody play that what's that Ash versus Evil Dead game that's out or whatever? I think they have an Army of Darkness map on there, and they brought some of their characters over. Dominic St. Clair Studio says Child's Play 3 or Leprechaun 3. Absolutely Child's Play 3, hands down. Well, I don't know. I need to revisit Leprechaun 3. That's the one where he's in Vegas, right? I mean, I honestly still, I think Child's Play 3. Child's Play 3 gets a lot of hate, but it ain't that bad. I mean, come on. Compared to some of the later sequels of Child's Play, it is not, and Seed of Chucky, it is not that bad. At least it was taken serious a little bit, you know? Yeah, it's different. It might not be as fun as Part 2 or Part 1, but it's not a bad movie. Scream Rat says, I remember being 7 and watching Bride of Chucky at my cousin's house. I remember being at the theater and sneaking into it. No, actually, I think that was the one movie. I think that was the one thing that my mom would let me watch whenever I was younger was Chucky. For some reason. She didn't really let me watching any of this other stuff, but I guess because Chucky was a doll, she looked at it as like less harmful. But like if you watch Bride of Chucky, it's got some very adult things in there. There's some raunchy, crude humor and some violent kills. John Ritter was in there. He doesn't get enough recognition. Rest in peace. He was great. Here's a 1990s movie, since I'm talking about John Ritter. The original It miniseries, 1990. John Ritter played the older version of Ben in the original It. And come on, man. Tim Curry is Pennywise. It's so sick. The first part of It scared me as a kid. It absolutely terrified me. And then my grandmother and she didn't know that I had this fear of clowns. And I was so young. I was probably like 5, 6, maybe. I don't know. But grandmothers, they usually they're not up to par with what kids like and all this kind of stuff. Well, she bought me a bunch of clowns for my room, a bunch of these small little clowns. And around that time, I just saw It, which scared me of clowns. And then that other movie, Dolls, came out. Anybody remember the movie Dolls? That might have been in the 80s, not the early 90s. I'm not sure. I have to look that up. But Dolls came out, where all these little dolls would come to life and drag people away, and it scared me. I don't know how scary it'd be today, but it scared me back then. But both of those movies coming out, and now my room's filled with these damn freaking like miniature Pennywises. It looks like. I was so scared. I would not sleep in my room. I made my mom and dad take them out. I was like, no, get rid of them. Get rid of them. I'm not sleeping in my room until they're gone. So yeah, I mean, come on. It was great. And John Ritter is great. We snuck the power from my mom's house. What? Damn. Leprechaun in Space or Hellraiser Bloodline. I don't know if I ever saw Hellraiser Bloodline, but Leprechaun in Space is so horrendous. I'm just gonna go on a risk here and say Hellraiser Bloodline, because I don't know how much worse you could get than Leprechaun in Space, honestly. Dominic St. Clair says Tremors 2 is good as well. Yes, it is. Tremors 2 is actually really good. I actually enjoyed Tremors 2. I think it's a good little sequel. It's an easy watch. No, you don't get Kevin Bacon back, but you get Fred Ward back, and you got this new, the heat-seeking elements to it and stuff, like how they evolved and stuff. Thought it was fun. That was a little fun movie. I thought actually it could have went to theaters back then. More worse things went to theaters than Tremors 2. Tremors 2 was straight to DVD. Scott Walker, scary movie. Me and my fiance beloved. It was funny when Ghostface called Shorty. Friends, phone. Yeah, that was funny. What's up? Yeah. I like to see a spinoff of Ghostface and Shorty. Yeah. I know that the Wayans brothers probably just hate that they sold that movie, man. They lost out on they lost out on so much money by selling the rights to that. Jamie Hart said, I saw Dead Alive at the theater. It is a gloriously gory film. Absolutely crazy. I loved it. Jamie, another one you've seen at the theater. I have never seen Dead Alive. I need to see that. Is that the one that Peter Jackson did? Didn't he do one? I might have them mixed up, but is this the one with the lawnmower mowing down people and it's like really gory? Never seen it. Never seen it. If that's the one we're talking about, I need to watch it. I need to watch it. See, I'm glad y'all are bringing some of this up, man, because it's like I need to catch up on. There was like another one that was made in the 90s called Nightbreed that I never saw. I always got like Nightbreed, and there was another one with it was there were vampires, and I can't think of the movie right now. Maybe it'll come to me later. But yeah, there was a few movies that really confused. You ever get confused between movies because they're almost like a little similar, or like the front of the cover was a little similar, so it's just like it's kind of confused you a little bit. Skullbar Meat. Oh, we already said that. Shriek with Coolio. Yeah, absolutely. Here's a good one. Maniac Cop 2. I've never seen any of the Maniac Cop movies. Is that a must for real? I don't know what it is. I just never saw Maniac Cop. And if I did, I just don't remember much of it. So yeah, I need to check it out. I've heard good things about it. Also, Samurai Cop. Is that a horror movie as well? Samurai Cop. Screamer said, I'll do you one better. David Fincher's Seven. Perfect, man. You know, it has horror elements. I wouldn't say it's a straight up horror movie, but yeah, it definitely has horror elements. Good one. Johnny Depp. Yep. That was Sleepy Hollow. Jamie says she loves Alien 3. Well, good for you, Jamie. I mean, like, I can understand the appeal. It's just the least one that I just would not watch. I'm bored in it, I think. I'm just a little bored. And I don't like what they do at the beginning. I like the ending of Aliens, and I was curious of where that's going to lead up to, and just to see what they do with the characters and everything. It's just, they just like scrap it all and do something different. Sleepy Hollow is really good. So was From Hell. Jamie, From Hell was a great movie. Heather Graham, Johnny Depp. That's a really good one. Thank you for reminding me of that one. I remember seeing From Hell in the theaters. From Hell was really good. Christopher Walken was the Headless Horseman. Absolutely. That was a good surprise whenever they did that flashback. I know another good horror comedy, Casper, 1995. It was funny. It had a sad movie, but I want it. Yeah, Casper was a good family comedy. Yeah. Jamie Hart says, yes, The Mummy is fantastic. Yes, it is. Emotep. I always say my wife, I say, you know how like a Noxuman in the Moon, or however you say her name. How do you say her name? Always, me and my wife, we have like this like inside joke, and I'm like, you're my Noxuman in the Moon. I don't know how to say it, but you know, like he's like, don't touch my wife. You know, you see the handprint on her shoulder or arm or something, and then he gets murdered. Anyways, The Prophecy with Christopher Walken, good one. I had not seen that in years. Rusty Shipley says, True Romance is an underrated 90s movie. Yes, it is. True Romance is really good, just not a horror movie. We're on 90s horror, Rusty. But yes, great movie. If you haven't seen True Romance, do yourself a favor and check it out. Family Man says, Devil's Advocate. Yes. Came out in 1997. Al Pacino, Keanu Reeves. Awesome movie. You really don't get much better than that. I mean, it's not like full blown horror, but it definitely has some horror aspects to it. Really good movie. Just a good movie in general. I mean, Al Pacino as the devil is like a match made in hell. I was gonna say heaven. Um, Jen with that amazing theory. Yeah, Jen's got some good ideas. I want to meet. That's his name, Andrew Divoff. 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 I want to tell somebody that, and they think I'm cussing at him or something in public, like Divoff, who played the Jinn in the Wishmaster. Yeah. He's going to be at Texas Frightmare in May. Yep. Can you see Andrew Divoff as Freddy Krueger? I could see that. Yeah, a little bit. I have to see him now. I don't know how much he's aged at this point. But yeah, I can see it. Some might not consider these horror, but Twin Peaks, Fire Walk with Me, and Lost Highway are great 90s movies. Also, California. California, is that the one with Brad Pitt? And was it Juliette Lewis or something else? I think that was a movie I wanted to see, and I never seen it. Somebody brought that to my attention. Sorry, I'm pouring me some champagne again. Yeah, I need to watch those. Not a horror movie, but I guess it could be. I mean, I've never seen it. I think it's got some like Natural Born Killers feels to it. I guess you could consider that kind of horrific. Dominic St. Clair says The Relic is another underrated 90s horror. I remember seeing The Relic in theaters. That is a good one. I can't remember much about it, honestly, but I remember when it came out, and I remember it was like the big movie out that weekend, and everybody was going to see it. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Any other? What else we got going on? Another one that was I don't know what I want to know what you guys think about this movie, because you either like this movie or you don't. Pet Sematary 2, Edward Furlong. When you think about the 90s, you kind of think about Edward Furlong. He's kind of in there, right? Edward Furlong, Pauly Shore. There's just certain actors that you're just like, yep, 90s. Vanilla Ice. The Ninja Turtles. I don't know, there's just certain things. But Pet Sematary 2 had its moment. It was completely different. Not as good as the first movie at all. But, it wasn't a bad movie either. It does have some things I would change about it, but there's some serious stuff there that, like, it's kind of dark. Lake Placid, yes. Yeah, I wanted to see that crocodile just rip people apart. Anaconda, good one. I remember seeing Anaconda at Lake Placid in the theater. I think they're going to try to bring back Anaconda. I don't know if it's going to be tied to this one, but Jennifer Lopez was in it. Ice Cube. It's ridiculous. John Boyd as the bad guy was great. It seemed like it was mostly all on location. Like, it had really good cinematography. Just the CGI on the snake probably doesn't age that well now, but it had some like animatronics as well. Like, the practical effects were good in it. Yeah, it was ridiculous. The snake moved crazy and ate people like whole really quick and broke people's necks and stuff like that. But you know what? I liked it. It was fun. I'm not afraid to admit it. Anaconda's a fun watch. Scott Walker says, how cool will it be if they do a horror movie version of Tarzan in the future? Tarzan in the future? Horror movie of Tarzan? Like, wasn't there a movie? Okay, you just reminded me of something. They did something similar, and I think it had Anthony Hopkins in it and Cuba Gooding Jr. What was that movie? He was like, Anthony Hopkins was on trial for murder or something. He was like I don't even know if I even saw this movie, but now I'm just remember it being advertised. But he was like, he lived in the jungle, and that's why he killed this person, was because he was wild. He was born to be wild. I don't really know. Does anybody remember this movie? What is the name of that movie? I'd have to look it up, but it has Cuba Gooding Jr. and Anthony Hopkins in it. And it was like Anthony Hopkins was a murderer or something, but he was like raised by apes or something, and he was just crazy. So I need to check that movie out. That's one movie I never checked out, I don't think. Silence of the Lambs. Yep, that's a great one. Talked about Anthony Hopkins. Great, great, great. Lake Placid. Betty White saying the F word. Yeah, that was pretty funny. Yeah, she did make that movie. She definitely was a great addition to that. Dominic St. Clair Studio says Species 2 is also cool. Yeah, it is cool. It is cool. It's just kind of got a lot of sex and nudity in it. Felt like it was just an excuse, but the idea of it was really cool. Like, you know, like it was like borderline NC-17 with all that kind of stuff in it. But the idea of Species, I always liked the idea of Species. I always thought it was good. Species 2, I don't know if I ever saw any other ones. I think Species and Species 2 was the only ones I watched. Those aliens would pop out of people. It's pretty crazy. Rusty Shipley says Cape Fear was creepy as hell. De Niro was insane. Yeah, Cape Fear was great. Martin Scorsese directed that. I know it's a comedy, but I love Mars Attacks. That is a good one. That's one I need to rewatch. It's got that's one of those movies that got like everybody in it. It's got so many actors in it. They spend like the whole entire, you know, they spend their entire budget on actors. It was pretty crazy. I would like to see what they could do with the property like that now. Yeah, great pick, Jamie. Scott said, do you remember a movie with Sam Wellington? It was called Alphas, with a killer whale versus great white shark movie, and he trains the killer whale, great white sharks, but he has to stop the alpha female. I do not. That does not ring a bell to me, Scott. I have to look that up. I definitely have to look that up. Let's see here. Oh, Ghost of Mars is underrated. Yeah, Ghost of Mars. That was John Carpenter, Ice Cube. Yeah, that was pretty good. Honestly, like, I like some of Ghost of Mars. That was like Jason Statham's movie. Like, he was in that movie before you knew who Jason Statham was. You got Clea DuVall in it. Natasha Henstridge is in it. You got a bunch of actors in it. The idea is great. It's cool and everything. I didn't like. There's some of the cinematography that I didn't like, and there's some things about it. I can't remember what it was, but there's some things about it that I wasn't that crazy about. But I like the premise. I like the idea, and I need to rewatch that. But I remember seeing it in theater. I think me and Nick went and saw that in theaters when it came out. Interview with the Vampire. Yes, that's a great one. I have not seen the show. Anybody seen the show that just came out? I think it's on AMC or something. Wonder how that is. Scream Rat says, I'll tell you what is next, a SpongeBob horror movie. Yeah, that'll be the day. Oh God. Let's see. Jamie says, if they would have made Freddie Prinze Jr. the killer, and I know he does, some people would have accused them of copying Scream with the boyfriend being the killer. Yeah, I could see that too, Jamie. Yeah, absolutely. But they already copy it a little bit. They all. I mean, it kind of like it's its cousin, you know, a little bit, because it just came right after it. I mean, they could have done something with it, you know, like just had somebody else as a killer. It doesn't have to be Freddie Prinze Jr. Just somebody that we were introduced to before the reveal. The Crow is a good 90s horror. Yeah, it's got some horror stuff to it, yeah. I always said The Crow. I think they're actually going to remake that. I think Jason Momoa has been attached to it off and on again. I don't know if they're ever going to make it or not. The Spawn comics are straight up horror. I love it. Never read the comics. I'm not sure. Jason Goes to Hell is the best 90s horror. I don't know if it's the best 90s horror. I don't know about that, but it does have its moments. But I'm not the biggest fan of Jason Goes to Hell. I like the beginning, and I like the end. And I like the diner scene. Everything else, I don't really care to see again. Dominic St. Clair says, we need a Troll 3. Is there not one? Huh. Family Man Gaming says, Leprechaun. Yeah, that was good. You know, you got Jennifer Aniston, you know, before we knew her at Friends. And yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good one. I'm going to talk about one movie right now that nobody has mentioned, and this movie deserves a lot more attention. and it was ahead of its time a little bit. Disturbing Behavior. Anybody seen Disturbing Behavior? That's one of, I mean, the soundtrack is awesome. Katie Holmes is awesome. I mean, the acting is so great. It's not a very long movie either. If you like, I think it's like an hour and 23 minutes or something. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It gets straight to the point, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun. It is kind of rushed there at the end a little bit, but it's a lot of fun. Disturbing Behavior. If you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor and check it out. Really, when that movie comes on, you're gonna feel 90s just going through your veins. Like, you're just gonna get those like 90s feel, like, hell yeah, I'm gonna live here for a minute. Fear is like Fatal Attraction. Yeah, a little bit. I can see that. But would be more of in a thriller area. Yeah, it is. But people die, people get killed. It's got some horror elements, psychos. Let's see. Jamie Hart says, yes, I saw Troll 2 in the theater with my mom and brother. We never laughed so hard in our life. Troll 2 went to theaters? That's what's puzzling me here. I had no idea Troll 2 went to theaters. The popcorn scene, that's all I'm going to say. Are you serious? It went to theaters? I thought I could have sworn it was a straight to DVD. How is Troll 1? Never seen Troll 1. We got to do that, like a B movie watch party, and we just pick like the most great. Like, anyone seen Thanksgiving? Troll 2 would be in there. What else would be in there? Like, I don't know, like the latest Jeepers Creepers I heard is so horrendous. I can't pull myself to watch it. Let's see. Skywalker, do you remember a movie with Kevin Bacon when he becomes the Hollow Man and he turns himself invisible? I found that movie scary. It was creepy. Yes, that is a great movie. Hollow Man, I remember seeing that in theaters. Kevin Bacon is great in everything. Hollow Man was such a good movie. It was so fun. It just was. You got Elizabeth Shue in there. A lot of familiar faces in that movie. Yes, Hollow Man's great. Bruce Willis's best friend. Oh, in Sixth Sense. Yeah, it was. I have a hard time. Whoa, what happened here? I have a hard time seeing the Sixth Sense as horror. I feel like it's more like a thriller or suspense. Yeah, it's just got it's got some ghost vibes. Like that's what I'm saying. I'll give it a pass if it's got some horror, creepy elements to it. Remember the movie like The Haunting or The Others and stuff like that? Like, yeah, The Haunting. Anybody? I remember seeing that in the theater. Walk on the Sun. I've never heard of that. Martin. Was a Smash Mouth song. Oh, in American Werewolf in Paris. That's right. Yeah, you're right. Might be walking on the sun. Yeah, that was so out of place. That was so weird. Anyways, a really good and underrated werewolf movie is Blood and Chocolate. Jamie, great pick. I remember seeing Blood and Chocolate. Yeah, that was. It was like right after like Underworld and stuff came out, and they started doing these type of movies. And I think like The Covenant came out, and I think they were like making all these type of movies that are like kind of had that similar feel a little bit. Except Blood and Chocolate, whenever they would turn into werewolves, they would turn into actual wolves. They wouldn't turn into like these creature-looking wolves. I remember that, but I remember the movie being decent though. I just wanted to see more horror and more creature from the werewolves themselves. Great pick, Jamie. Scott Walker says, do you remember a scary crocodile movie called Lake Placid? Yeah, we've talked about that a couple times already. Yes, absolutely. Ghost in the Machine is not anime. Okay. All right, I have to look it up. Lake Placid was a good surprise. Doesn't have a lot of kills. Scott says, do you like the Goosebumps TV series or as scary as horror comedy TV? Yeah, I love Goosebumps watching them whenever I grew up. Yeah, that was like a must. Goosebumps and Are You Afraid of the Dark? Man, I had to watch it. Haven't seen Brain Scan. Dominic, you got to watch Brain Scan. You have to, okay? Look it up right now. YouTube the trailer, something. Such a good movie. And you know, the trailers were so weird back then. You never knew if it was going to be good or not. So don't judge it if the trailer's not that great. Just watch the movie. It's so good. Um, yes, I love that movie, Brain Scan. It's on Tubi. Okay, yeah, watch it on Tubi. Such a weird name, Tubi. I don't even know if I have Tubi. Is Tubi free? Smash that like button, guys. Thank you, Scream Rad. Yeah, if you're just coming here and you're just passing through, guys, I've said it a couple times. Just smash that like button. And also, if you want to become an official stationeer, consider hitting that join button, and you can join me on live watch parties. I do them as many as you want. We just have to plan them out. We can do whatever movie you want, your choice. But I kind of prefer it to be somewhat horror because that's what my channel is about. But you know, yeah, consider becoming a stationeer if you're interested in that as well. If this is your first time here, so consider subscribing to Destination Station for Scream, Halloween, and everything in between. And thank you for being a part of the conversation, because you know what? This is the best community on YouTube. I mean, it's super. I mean, it is honestly. Like I've met so many great people through just talking about my favorite movies, and there's a lot of us out there, and I love each and every single one of y'all. Thank you for making my day. It's very therapeutic. Ghostface Fanatics in the house. How's it going? What's up, Ghostface Fanatic? It's going pretty well, brother. We're talking about 90s horror. Welcome to the party. Ghostface, I think you fit right in there. All right, I think you're like probably on the Mount Rushmore of 90s horror and horror in general. Yes, I'll be down for another 90s horror stream. Hell yeah. Jamie Hart says, I spent a lot of time at the mall in the 80s. 80s mall queen, went to the theater a lot. Oh, okay, cool. Hell yeah. Bet you that was cool. Heck yeah. Ghostface is in the house. Jen says, I need to start my streams earlier. I'll try to do it. I try to work things around with my family and all that kind of stuff, and it just seems like 10 o'clock is a good time for us. But yeah, I might be able to move it back an hour, maybe. But we will see. We shall see. I'm sorry, Jen. But thank you for being a part of this as long as you can. I always love you being a part of here. Always looking out for me. Jen is great. Jen's been with me since the beginning, along with some of the other y'all have just been so great to me. And you know what? I don't take it for granted at all. Let's see here. Scream Rad. Me and Amber were talking that a Scream video game would be sick. Yeah, it would. Creepin 666 says, I barely sleep so Freddy can't get me. You know, there was like this, wasn't there like this like idea before Freddy came out or something, that you know, like this guy cut his eyelids off so he wouldn't sleep because he really thought he was going to get killed in his sleep. They've never done that in a movie. What if they actually integrated that, like something like that? I mean, I know it's horrific and it's a touchy subject, you know, but they've done it with other movies. Wouldn't that be just such a wild scene to see in a Nightmare on Elm Street movie? You know how like Kristen was like burning herself to stay awake and all this kind of stuff. Like there was like some really cringy stuff, you know, like what if like there was a scene where one of our characters actually, we see him like with a razor blade or something, cut his eyelids off because he's so frightened to go to sleep to see Freddy. Like that could actually be one of the death scenes or kill scenes or scenes in general in a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. I think that'd be crazy. Creepin 666, do not do that. Sorry you can't barely sleep. Get some melatonin. Freddy won't get you, I promise. I love if the creators of the Dark Pictures make a choice-based Scream game. Yeah, of Dark Pictures. Yeah. Supermassive Games. I hear you. Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, absolutely. I can see that. I'm curious to see how that Texas Chainsaw Massacre game is going to play out, and that what is it? The Clowns from Outer Space movie. Killer Clowns from Outer Space game. Yeah. Those dark picture games are fun. Yes, they are. I like to have a Scream video game on PlayStation 5. Yeah, I hope it's like multi-platform though. Zoe Crawford's in the house. What's up, brother? Candyman is probably one of my favorites from the 90s. Man, we talked about Candyman. Yes, man. Absolutely, man. Candyman has just got that feel, like that seriousness. It's got that dread. You can feel the wind. You can with that voice from Tony Todd, and then that opening scene, it just haunted me as a kid. So, welcome to the stream, man. We need to do a collab one day. I'll be on your channel, you'll be on mine. Really good content. If you're not subscribed to Zoe, do yourself a favor and subscribe to Zoe. He's got a great channel, great content. If you like my stuff, if you like a lot of us horror channel stuff, you'll love Zoe's stuff. Really, really, really good stuff over there. So it's an easy click away. Just subscribe to Zoe. Show him some love. Let's see here. Ghostface Fanatic says, I like Scream 2. People think it's better than Scream 1996, but I always say nothing matches the original. Agreed. Scream 2 is one of the better sequels of, and that's one stream I'm probably gonna make is what's the better. I'll compare like the originals of all our favorite horror movies, but I want to do a stream where we compare who's got the better sequels in the franchise, and add them up. And talk about them. Let's have a discussion. Let's figure out who has the better sequels. Scream's up there. Scream doesn't have a bad sequel, in my opinion. Not yet. Not like some of these other ones. Hasn't jumped the shark yet. Dominic St. Clair says, then the player can take off the Ghostface costume to pretend to be innocent. Yeah, that'd be cool. I want it to be like replayability, though. You know, Dominic, I want it to be able to be like every time you play it, there's a different killer. Somebody else is the killer. So there's always that mystery aspect. You don't know who it is. Kind of like Among Us as the imposter thing, like that whole idea. Rawhead Nick says, Mimic. Mimic is awesome. Mimic's really good. That doesn't get enough praise. Mimic's really good. If you haven't seen Mimic, check it out. I remember seeing Event Horizon and Mimic back to back. Yeah, absolutely. That's a fun idea, Destin. Thank you, Jamie. Yeah, absolutely. I'd put some ideas in. Okay, Scream Red, I'm down for it. For the Whodunit live stream, hell yeah. I think it'd be cool. Like if I can get everybody on board and we could do it like once a weekend or twice a month or something like that at least. Everyone's got different schedules and stuff, but if we could get a bunch of us and have like a different scenario, like like a murder mystery dinner party type thing, like there's a killer and such, and give a whole backstory on it, and this person's dead, and like our narrator tells the whole story to the audience, and then the chat has to like narrow it down which one of us is the killer, and then maybe there'll be a prize at the end, like some merch or maybe a free membership or something like that to our channels. There's something there. I'd have to talk to the other people to see what they would be willing to do, but I think it's just a really fun idea. I don't see anyone doing anything like that, and it'd be a fun game to do. We do horror movie trivia sometimes and stuff on here, but I think that would take it up a notch. Maybe we can combine the two. I understand people have their own opinion, but I think 1996 is always going to be the best. I like Scream 2. I like Scream 3 a little more. That's just me. Oh, you like Scream 3 over Scream 2? Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I can see it. That every time I talk to somebody likes a different sequel over the other one. But that's good. That just shows that how great the quality is in the Scream franchise. But yeah, 1996, the original, it's perfect. It's perfect. Skywalker says, how do you think Sydney will react when she sees Stu alive? How do you, after all these years, I wonder how she's going to say to him. She's probably going to kick his ass. That's what I would think. I think she'd kick his ass, and then this time she's going to shoot him in the head, because that's what she did not do last time. She did that to Billy, and that's the thing. You got to shoot him in the head. Leprechaun 3 in Vegas. Yeah, I barely remember that movie, but yeah. Ghostface Fanatic. I personally think Scream 3 is underrated. It gets too much hate in my eyes. It's a good film. Maybe there's some terrible moments in the movie, and I know it ain't perfect, but no movie is going to be perfect. I don't think there's really any terrible moments in the movie, actually. I think that some things could have been executed a little differently. Some things they could have changed up, especially with the ending. But other than that, I think it's a solid movie, man. But I agree with you, Ghostface. Absolutely, dude. Uh, let's see. Would you like to see Megan versus Chucky? That's actually in that. A lot of people are asking for that. I heard that new Megan movie with that killer girl doll that's kind of like a AI doll or something. I heard that that's getting a lot of recognition. Like, it's got so much positivity around it right now. Early reactions. I cannot wait to see that. It comes out in January. If I get an early screening of that, definitely going to give my right out of the theater reaction. So, yeah, I got high hopes for Megan. It already looked interesting, but I was thinking this could go either way. But seeing all the positivity coming out of these early reactions, I have really high hopes for it. I think the whole stinker you know how like a lot of times like movies that come out in January, especially horror movies, are stinkers. That was like the thing for the longest, but the film industry, the years are so oversaturated now, especially post after the what happened in the world. We're playing catch up, so we have so many things that have to come out that's been needing to come out for a year or two, and then we got new projects that supposed to be coming out. So it's like we're just crammed with so much content right now, especially with like streaming and all this other stuff. I think that January is a solid place for horror movies now. I mean, look at it. We had Scream there last year, or this year actually, earlier this year, and so yeah. I mean, that was great. And I think, what was it? Was it one of the Saw movies? Wasn't the Spiral? Didn't it come out in January? It wasn't that bad. You guys should do like a very unpredictable who done it for the stream. Yeah, something. It's got to be right. We got to work out some kinks and stuff. I need to bounce around some ideas with the other guys and figure it out. It'd be a lot of fun, and I think y'all would like it too. I think we would all have fun together. Ghostface Fanatic says Roman is my favorite killer. That's just my preference because he was the smartest killer out of all of them. Yeah. I just wanted there to be a second killer, and I felt like we needed more screen time of Roman for it to hit harder. Just something. And I really was looking forward to whenever you see those pictures of Maureen Prescott and it says I killed her, my mind immediately went, oh, it's going to be somebody from the first film. It's got to be somebody from the very first film. And no, it wasn't. That's what I was thinking. But oh well. Scott Walker says the worst time to watch horror films during a thunderstorm, just pictures when you're watching the film that the flash of lightning happens. Yeah, I feel you, man. I actually love that. I love it. It puts me I love thunderstorms. Anybody else love storms? Like lightning, storms, high winds, a little bit of rain. Oh, I love it. It just puts a chill in me, and I just give me some champagne and watch a good scary movie. Puppet Master is cool. Yeah, I need to rewatch all the Puppet Masters. I don't know how well they'll hold up to today. I watched one of the Puppet Masters that came out a couple of years ago, and it was pretty wild. They made like something, I mean, it had some wild death scenes. Like, it was crazy. Dolls was 1987. Yeah, okay, so that was in the 80s. Yeah, that frightened me. There's a part where like the parents threw like the kid's bear out into the woods, and then like an actual big ass grizzly bear came out and like killed his parents. That was weird. I don't know how I remember that. I guess that just really scared me when I was a kid. Do you know the Thomas and Friends episode, the Ghost Train? That episode scared heck. Thomas and Friends, like the kids show. I don't know, man. No, I don't know that one. Ghostface Fanatic. Scream 2 was great. Don't get me wrong, I love it, but not as big on as Scream 3. I feel you, man. That's good. Roman was the smartest Ghostface killer in the entire franchise. Yeah. Let's see here. Yes, love all the Scream movies, but Stu and Billy fave Miss Loomis I like too. Yeah, I mean they're honestly, I didn't have a problem with any of the killers. There's only like 2 killers. My 2 least favorite. Okay, I'm gonna say right now, whoever your bet, we always talk about who's our favorite killers. My two least favorite killers out of all of them is Charlie and Amber. Those are my two least favorite killers. Yep, Peter Jackson directed Dead Alive. It's a Wild Ride. Nightbreed is really good. Okay, cool. Okay, yeah. I need to check it out, Jamie. Rawhead says, well, I got to go. Take care, folks. Love you guys. Love you too, buddy. Get some rest. I know we're after midnight. You know, I'm like a gremlin. I get weird after midnight. Probably going to have to shut it down here soon. We'll see. We'll see how things go. We'll see how we feel. Nathaniel Fincher's in the house. I was lucky enough to have seen both Scream and Ravenous both open the weekend. Life-changing experiences for me. Dude, I bet. I remember seeing Ravenous in theaters as well. It was like limited. It was like at like some of the smaller theaters. That was the only. It was like at the mall theater. That's what it was. I was out for like my birthday or something. I don't really remember. But I remember seeing Ravenous in the theater, and I was like, whoa, this was better than I thought it was going to be. And Scream, absolutely. I saw Scream so many times at the theaters. I even had the movie before it even left theaters because, like I said, like my sister's boyfriend at that time worked for a video store, and he would get these screeners, these movies. It would just have like the like copyright stuff at the bottom of the screen all the way throughout it. But I had that movie because he let me borrow it, so I was watching it at home. And even when I went to theaters, everybody I went to theater, all my friends, I was like, you got to watch this movie. You got to come watch this movie. I would like drag people to go see it. So I'd still watch it at the theater, even though I owned it. Detective, you've been looking for me. Let's see here. Maniac Cop 2 had Halloween 2 is that one. Okay. I like Halloween 2. I ain't gonna lie. Halloween 2 is a pretty good movie. Have you seen Jack's Back with James Spader? I have not. I have to check that out. James Spader is good. Let's see here. Ghostface Fanatic says, the main reason why I think Scream 3 gets a lot of hate is that people didn't know how they had that voice changer. People don't buy it, and people did not the story, but you thought the movie was great. Yeah, I mean, the voice changer is definitely something that would be cool if they did bring it back. I'd like to see that be brought back in some way. That would be awesome if it's in Scream 6 in March. But a lot of people, yeah, like that technology doesn't exist to today. We do have like soundboard stuff, but not on the fly changing your voice like that, you know, to somebody else's voice, you know, like I can't sound like you or you can't sound like me, like to the T, you know, but it's fun. It's fun to think about. I feel like I don't know, like I like the idea. It didn't really take me out of it. I just kind of went with it. Family Man Gaming says, I was looking up 13 Ghosts to see when it came out, which is 2001, but apparently it is a remake of a movie from, yes, it is a remake. And yes, it still has that 90s flair. It's got even Matthew Lillard in it, Martin. Also, if you like 13 Ghosts, if anybody likes 13 Ghosts, check out the new Hellraiser reboot on Hulu. Hellraiser on Hulu has 13 Ghost vibes all over it. You'll see what I'm talking about. Really cool stuff. I'm not the biggest Hellraiser fan, but I did like that reboot. It was fun. It was fun, and it was kind of cool. More mainstream than the original. People should talk more about that one. Really good horror film. Also a nude Charlize Theron. Yeah. Silent Night, Deadly Night for very underrated. Yeah, I've not seen that in so long. I can't even remember much about it. I need to rewatch that. The scene in Wishmaster where Jin confronts Kane Hodder and he walks through him. Dude, okay. So I definitely need to rewatch Wishmaster because I do not even remember Kane Hodder being in it. That's how long it's been since I watched Wishmaster. And I have them all. I have like the box set of it. I'm going to rewatch these movies. And isn't Robert Englund in it as well for like a cameo or something? Or like an executive producer or something like that. I need to rewatch this movie, especially that first one. I remember being a kid and liking it though. Nathaniel Fincher said, I also seen Wishmaster and The Relic in cinemas. Yeah, that's probably the last time I saw Wishmaster was in cinemas. And The Relic. What about Hannibal? Hannibal was a really good sequel. That was really good, honestly. I remember seeing that. That's another one I haven't seen since the theaters, but I'd like to rewatch Hannibal. Apparently the creature Cathoga was in Predator 2 as a trophy. Huh. Nice. Cool Easter egg. California does have Brad Pitt, and he's scary as hell. I consider it skirting on the horror genre. It's really good and worth checking out. Cool, cool, yeah. I've always wanted to check that movie out. And I'm pretty sure Brad Pitt as a psycho is pretty cool. Cathoga from The Relic. That's awesome, Dominic. Yeah, never picked up on that, but definitely would be looking out for that next time I watch that movie. Ghostface Fanatic. The New Nightmare was great. That was kind of funny and scary at the same time. That scene when Freddy was a guest on the TV show, that was kind of funny. Yeah, we talked about this earlier, Ghostface. We talked a lot about New Nightmare. Yeah, that scene where Freddy jumps out of the closet, though, that frightened me. I snuck into the theater to see New Nightmare. New Nightmare was so ahead of its time. I love it. I love it. It was meta before meta was meta, before Scream came out. It was ahead of its time. And if you weren't here earlier, I gave a little fun fact about Julie, the caregiver or whatever, the babysitter of Dylan. She was the mom on the Scream TV series, Emma's mom. So yeah, there's a fun little fact. Jim Warner says, I'm going to bed. It's going on 1 a.m. I need to go to sleep. Good night, all. Good night, Jen. Get some rest. Get some rest. I'll see you Sunday night for our Dracula 2000 watch party. Yeah, hope everybody comes back and has a little, can watch along with that movie, and we'll have a good little turnout and talk about the movie. Gerard Butler as Dracula? Yes, please. I'm really looking forward to that. Family Man Gaming says, good night, buddy. Get some rest. Glad you came by, hung out for a little bit. Yeah, awesome. Did anyone bring up Jurassic Park for a 90s horror movie? Oh, we did not. Yeah, Jurassic Park is really considered a horror movie if you really think about it. I mean, it's got definitely some horror elements to it. Ooh, how could we ever forget? Wow, my bad. Yeah, Jurassic Park's great. That first one's really, really good. If they could just get that tone back, can they just make a Jurassic Park movie with that tone? That's all you gotta do. Halloween H2O. 90s all over it. Had like Scream all over it. Kevin Williamson helped write it. It's definitely got the feels. Dr. Giggles. Did anyone see the 1992 movie Dr. Giggles about a killer doctor? I don't remember much about it. Here's another one. 1998. Strangeland. Robert Englund's in that as well. Not a lot of people talk about that movie anymore. Strangeland. D. Snyder's Strangeland. Wow. Here's another one. I remember this. This is like a straight to DVD one, but I remember when this came out. Uncle Sam, 1996. Apparently it's on Tubi as well. It's like, I don't remember. I Want You Dead. That's what it says. Yeah. Okay, I got one for you. Sleepwalkers. Sleepwalkers. Has anyone seen Stephen King's Sleepwalkers? Let me know. And what do you think about it? You either love this movie or you hate it. I love Sleepwalkers. I don't care. I will defend that movie to the day I die. Species had one sex scene where Species 2 had a bunch of sex scenes. Yeah, definitely. Cruel Jaws. End of Days. Yes, End of Days, I consider it. I mean, that's like one of the darker Arnold Schwarzenegger movies that he's ever made. I was surprised how dark that movie went. I thought it was going to be a little bit more, not as serious. You are a choir boy. That's compared to me. You are. I love that part where he tells the devil that. Ice Cube was in the movie Ghost of Mars. Yeah, Ice Cube was. Yep. Ice Cube had some great hits. I'm not a big fan of the Leprechaun movies personally. I like the Child's Play franchise more. The Leprechaun movies are too weird for me. Yeah, growing up, I liked the Leprechaun movies a lot. I've always been a big fan of Child's Play. But yeah, growing up, Leprechaun needs a little bit of work. It needs some new life, in it. Like let's get back to some seriousness. I feel like they could do something really good. They just need to do something different and make it serious, you know? We still want that little leprechaun saying some one-liners and rhyming every now and then. I don't know. It's like, how do you make it serious? So, you know, and if you do something different, make him a different type of creature, you know, maybe not let him talk at all, but he still be like a little leprechaun, you know, but he's like vicious. He's just like evil looking, and he just like, maybe he can jump around like off of cars and into windows and on the roof and all that kind of stuff. Like he can jump high. Yeah, End of Days with Arnold. Yeah, I heard Bill Skarsgård was in talks for the Krogan. Yeah, I did hear that too. So I don't know which one's going to take it. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of rumors going around. I think Scream 1 and 2 are the best 90s horror. Yeah, I seen Disturbing Behavior. Disturbing Behavior is awesome. Yes, it is. Yeah, I'm trying to catch up to y'all. Sorry, I'm trying to give everybody their shine. I like to talk to all of y'all. That's the one thing about my channel I like to do. I like to answer everybody, and so yeah. Ghostface Fanatic. I like the original Child's Play film. Super chats do go to the front of the line, though. I probably should have said that at the beginning of the stream. It's not necessary, but yeah, they definitely go to the top of the line. I like the original Child's Play film. I also like Child's Play 2, but the original is the best. Some people prefer the second movie more than the original. Honestly, Ghostface, growing up, Child's Play 2 is the one I watched the most. Honestly, like I think that is. I don't know if it's a better written film, but the tone of it and the fun aspect, the music. It's got that toy background. Then like it's got that climax where they're in the toy factory. Like that's just so memorable to me. You know, just so many cool things. Like even like the teacher scene. I think that like it's just it's kind of the perfect balance of goofy Chucky and serious Chucky. They're both great in their own ways. I just rewatched the original Chucky, and I was like, it brought back so much to me, and I loved it. I loved it. The original Chucky's so good. Original Child's Play, my bad. What do you think about the remake? Curious about what you guys think about that. How about Class of 1999? What is that? I remember a movie called Class of 1989. There was a horror movie with Brad Pitt and some others, and it was like a slasher whodunit type movie. But I think it was Class of 89, if I'm not mistaken. The corn scene, yeah, with the popcorn on Troll 2. Come on. We got to do a watch party of Troll 2 on this channel. I had no idea it went to theaters. It did go to theaters different times back then. Wow. Ooh, Jamie. I see what you're saying here. Stir of Echoes is pretty good. It's better than pretty good. It's really good, actually. That's one of the better ghost movies in my opinion. And Kevin Bacon, oh man, it was so good. Kevin Bacon was at the top of his game. So awesome. Anybody seen Kevin Bacon in the on Disney Plus on the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, this Christmas holiday special? They have Kevin Bacon in it. It's so funny. Check it out. I've been hearing so many things about it, so I watched it the other night and it was really good. It was just like a comedy. It was like a 45-minute hour comedy special. It was pretty good. Wasn't expecting it to be that long. Stir of Echoes was so good, but it's sad too. But there are some really chilling moments in it. The one moment that I can really think of is the part where the little boy is in the bathtub and the mom's trying to talk to him, and his voice changes and says, I think he says, "Talk to me." Ooh, that gave me chills. That gave me chills. Oh wow. Let's see here. Class of 1999. I don't know. Remind me what that is, Dominic. Are you thinking of Class of 1989? I think that's the name of that movie. Not quite sure. Oh, but we got a super chat in the house. From Tatum Rose, $2 super chat. Who will you miss more, Sydney or Dewey in Scream 6? I think I'm gonna honestly. Thank you for the $2 super chat. I appreciate that. I think I'm gonna miss Dewey more because he's permanently gone. I don't know. I don't know. Sydney has the potential to come back. So let's see here. Let's see. Where was I? Trying to find where I was. Wow, hopefully I wasn't. I'm not that far back, am I? Okay, all right, guys. I'm if I skip over you, I'm sorry. I'm trying to catch up with everybody. We've had a really good turnout tonight. If you're just coming through or anything, you know, like I said earlier, just smash that. I don't know when you're in here or when you're not. I know some of y'all have been here from the beginning, but smash that like button if you can. That'd be super awesome. I really appreciate it. I love the OG Flatliners. Yeah, you know, I need to watch the original Flatliners. That's one movie I never watched. That or The Fly. I've never watched them. I know it's crazy, right? What about Bad Moon or Dog Soldiers? Both great. Dog Soldiers, it's cool. Yeah, both great. Dog Soldiers that's one of the better werewolf movies, but we need more werewolf movies today. That was like the last best one, really. I really think. Oracle 684 is in the house. Jamie Hart, do you know when Region Freeze next episode is? I don't know. Ghostface Fanatic says, I also like the original Stephen King It from film 1990. I like the best better. The new ones in my eyes, Tim Curry is the best Pennywise. I didn't care for the new actor as much. Yeah, I think Skarsgård did really good, honestly, but Tim Curry, there's something just about it that's just creepy. Just how it gets so serious and he does his lips and stuff, and it's just like everything you ever were afraid of and all that kind of stuff. Like that's whoa, like he put fear into the lens. The new Pennywise is just creepy, good acting and everything, but it's just not scary in my opinion. But it's still fun. Let's see. Oracle 684, it's a group of people that are a huge fan of horror films. They'll get together like every other Thursday, and it's something I really like. Cool. Oh, okay, cool. Nice. If you grew up with a My Buddy Me doll and then saw Chucky, then you would never play with your Muddy ever again. Hey, check this out since we're on topic of this. Hold on. Can you see it? With the green screen, it's kind of hard to see, but yeah, I still haven't opened it yet. I got it to make some skits and stuff because I make like little short films on my channel and stuff. So just still haven't done it. But yeah, My Buddy doll, dude, you're bringing back so many memories. I remember that. Absolutely. We got another super chat in the house. Let's see here. Brett James Bishop, my buddy. Class of 1999 came out in 1990 with Malcolm McDowell. Oh, okay. I guess I've never seen that one. I have to look it up. That's going to be on my radar. I've never looked at it. Is it good? I guess it's good. Everyone's talking about it. Definitely will check that out, Brett. Awesome. Awesome to see you in the chat too, buddy. Super cool. Super cool. I hope everything's going well. Thank you for the $5 super chat. And welcome to the party, pal. We're talking 1990s horror. We're talking about the best 90s horror. We talked about Brain Scan. We talked about Scream, obviously. We talked about so many movies. Throw in some gems in there, Brett. I'm curious of what you like. I need some 90s feel up in here, okay? I'm stuck in the 90s. Awesome. Thank you for the $5 super chat, Brett. You're super awesome. I'm gonna look that up because I've never heard of that. Um, yes, Tubi is free. They have an amazing horror movie selection. Okay, cool, cool. Uh, Oracle says, when it's announced that the Scream 6 trailer is going to debut, I might not be able to sleep the night before because that's how excited I am. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I know a lot of people are anticipating that it's going to drop on December 20th because that's the anniversary of 1996 Scream, which, that's a good time to drop it. It's like 3 months before the movie comes out. It's a good time to drop the first trailer or at least a teaser or something. But it could get leaked any day, and then if it does get leaked, then they're going to drop it earlier. I think it will be out by Christmas, though. I really do. I think it's going to be out by Christmas. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of videos, a lot of breakdowns. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. Yeah, that was in the 90s. Hell yeah. That's awesome. I can't. That's the one that I think I maybe only watched once or twice though. Ghostface Fanatic. I like the idea of them making a film about Tiffany the doll. That's a great idea. If I was a director, I would be on it. Hell yeah. Yeah. I always like a good doll horror movie. It's done right. I like it. I want to see Nightmare come. I highly doubt that Robert Englund would do it again because of his age, but it would be cool to have him do it one last time. Ghostface. Okay, since we're talking about this, I have talked about them on streams in the past about my idea of how they can bring Robert Englund back and respect the original. I honestly think, and y'all might not agree with me, and that's okay. We can all have disagreements and still be friends and still love each other and still be a great community and y'all are still my fam, even if you don't agree with me. Anyways, I had this idea that they need to do a requel to the first Nightmare on Elm Street. No disrespect to any of the sequels, especially 2 or 3. And Heather Langenkamp is still alive, but she's a supporting cast in this one, kind of like how she was in Nightmare 3. And in this one, we're following like a guidance counselor, like a guy that's at the school, like he's new to the area, like he got a job at the high school. Maybe this is where Nancy is working. And I think the movie should open up, honestly, similar to the original Nightmare on Elm Street movie with Tina. And I think that's how you bring back Robert Englund, because he might look different. If you ever watch the Goldbergs Halloween special with Robert Englund in the Freddy costume or the Freddy makeup, it looks really different. It was a little distracting, but it was great to see him back. I don't know if it was just like who did the makeup or what, but you could tell something was off the way it was either shot or whatever. But to bring him back, yes, Robert Englund is aged, and I think they need to shoot him in the makeup like they did the original Nightmare on Elm Street movie, where he's like in the dark. You see the claw, you hear the claw, you see him peeking between the pipes, you see him down in the boiler room, but you barely see his face because nothing's really up close, and that's how he kills, and he's at the very beginning of this movie, and the whole thing is that he's weak now because a lot of people don't really remember him, like he's losing, like he's trying to pass the torch, and it takes elements from the new Candyman movie where they was kind of like passing the torch to the new Candyman. And in this one, maybe there was this long lost son and it's the main character that we're following, and he soon discovers that he's a Krueger. He didn't even know he was a Krueger because he was taken away at a young age. And this is him discovering that his dad was actually Freddy Krueger. And all these kids are actually getting killed in this high school that he's working at. And once he's discovering it, we discover it along as the audience with him that he is a Krueger. So we're shocked, he's shocked. And then when the townspeople find out that he is a Krueger, they immediately assume that he's the killer, killing the kids. So they do what they did to his dad. They burn him, they chase him down, and they kill him, and in a horrific way, they burn him. And this is where we have a scene near the climax, where he's meeting his father, whether it be in hell or a dream sequence or whatever. and this is like Freddy passing the torch to our new Krueger, you know. So that's the only thing it has to. I mean, like I know they've talked about like him having a daughter and stuff like that, you know, in the later sequels, but you know, he could have had kids. We can do a whole backstory thing. We can right some wrongs here, and maybe he did have a daughter. Maybe he did have a son as well. And I think that's one way that they could do this. They could take a lot of inspirations from that new Candyman movie, and they can still bring back Robert Englund for the most of the movie. Shoot him in the shadows, shoot him in the shadows, and show respect to him. And then Robert Englund can still be in the if it works well, then he can still be in the sequels. He can just have cameos or, you know, have something in there, you know. Maybe he's in the new Krueger's dreams. Maybe the new Krueger has dreams and he sees his dad in his dream. I don't know. Just ideas. Just ideas. I think they need to work with that, though. Yeah. Absolutely. Oh, we got another super chat in the house. From where'd it go? It just jumped on me. Oh, we got two super chats in the house. The first one is Family Man Gaming with a $5 super chat. Here's a drink on me since I can't have one with you right now. Thanks, buddy. Martin, you're too kind, buddy. Here's a drink. I hope you're having a good beverage too, man. I miss you. We used to live in the same area where I used to live. We haven't seen each other in a while, but hopefully that changes soon. Thanks, buddy. Thank you for the $5 super chat. You're super awesome. I will repay you somehow, some way. Love you, buddy. I hope you're having a good night. Thank you for that $5 super chat. Brett James Bishop, $5 super chat. What's up, buddy? Fear 1996 is a horror film for me. I can't handle home invasion movies. Makes me a high-strung paranoid. Too scary for me. Marky Mark was terrifying. Dude, I talked about Fear earlier. Yeah, I think it's definitely in the horror realm. You know, some people think it's just a thriller or whatever, but Mark Wahlberg played a terrific psycho. He was scary. And it's on another level for a dad. When you have a daughter and this is what's going on, you got to protect your daughter. Like, there are some really dark elements in that. And then you got Alyssa Milano in there. Her name, Reese Witherspoon in there. A lot of great actors. And, you know, he killed it as, what was his name in that? David. His name was David in that movie. Yeah, I like home invasion movies if they're done right. It does kind of have a home invasion movie feel in the climax. You know what I'm saying? Like where they're all trying to break into the house. That part's not really that scary to me because you know, it's not like lurking in the shadows. It's just like a gang is trying to break in or whatever. But like those type of movies really do make me high-strung and paranoid too. And that's why I like them. Like The Strangers, that one scene where like Liv Tyler's just standing there in the living room, and then you have the masked killer, one of the strangers, like in the hallway, and she doesn't even notice he's behind her. He's even in the house with her. That's scary to me. That's dread. It was dread. That's what makes it scary. Makes it real. I mean, dude, and Fear 1996 has 90s written all over it. It has Bush on the soundtrack. I don't want to come back down from this cloud. I'm not going to start singing, but you know what I'm saying. It's definitely 90s all over it. I love it. I love Fear. And I really think that's Mark Wahlberg's best performance. He's had some good ones. He's had some really bad ones. But that's a good one. Thank you, Brett, the $5 super chat. You're super awesome, man. Always have great conversations. Thank you again. And now, let's see. Where was I? Thank y'all so much for the super chat. Super chats do go to the front of the line. And I know I'm probably a little bit behind, and I'm sorry, but I try to give everybody their shine. And we're having a good night tonight. Hold on. I gotta pour me a little bit more bubbly. Uh-oh. Hold up. Wait a minute. Let me put some pimping in it. All right. Let's see. Have you seen Death by Temptation? No, I have not. I found all you guys like Jake, Fate, and others all through Craven and Night. Oh, awesome, man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, we all kind of like, get together and do a stream every now and then. Great community. Yeah, they're all great guys. They put out some really good content and everything. So yeah, um, yeah, absolutely. I always say Craven's my daddy. I always mess with him. I like Craven. Craven's a good guy. He kind of brought us all together, honestly. And he brought all, even with y'all, he brought all of us together. He kind of built this community by collabing with everybody. And so, yeah, we even like talked about, and maybe y'all could, if y'all want this, talk to them about this, but like he'll know what we're talking about. We considered making this stream where like, 1 hour will be on my stream, next hour will be on Craven's stream, then the next hour we'll all migrate and go to Night stream, and kind of do that as like a rotation. And then we came up with the idea we would do it for like 24 hours straight and have it like, we would have it all timed out and everything. I don't know. That's a lot of stuff to work out, but something we could do like 2 or 3 though. I think. Mimic, directed by Guillermo del Toro. Del Toto. Toto. That's the dog from Wizard of Oz. Mimic was great. I remember seeing Mimic in the theaters. That first Mimic was awesome. I saw that, Event Horizon. Man, both of those movies just came out at the right time. I really think that if they, Josh Brolin was in that. Mira Savini was in that. Like, there was a lot of good. Charles S. Dutton was in that. There's a lot of good cast in there, and the idea of it all, I think they could do a lot with that property. Mimic, they could do a lot with that today with the technology. The guy from Avatar, Sam, I think you mean Worthington, is doing a movie called Alphas. It's about a guy who trains killer whales to help. Oh, okay. That's what we were talking about earlier. Okay, I have to look that up. I like Sam Worthington. I liked him as Clash of the Titans, that first one, or Wrath of the Titans. They're supposed to come out with a third one. But he's been really busy with Avatar. I already got my tickets for Avatar. Anybody else got their tickets for Avatar? I got mine for 3D on the biggest screen, D-Box, the whole 9 yards. I see those tickets just going like crazy. I'm just like, I'm going to go ahead and get mine. Ghostface Fanatics, I personally think Scream 4 is great too. A lot of people hate that film as well, even though I like the first 3 films more, but it's definitely better than Scream 2022. See, I mean, like every time I talk to somebody, it's always in a different order, and that's awesome. That's really cool. Honestly, I've always liked all the Scream movies in the same order that they came out. I always like Scream 1, Scream 2, Scream 3. Scream 4 was always like not my favorite. It ain't the first one I'm going to watch. I'm going to watch the first 3 more. Then Scream 5 came out, and at first, because I was on this high that it was back, I thought it was the best since the original. But after rewatching it and analyzing it, I think I like Scream 2 better. I think the way I would rank it is Scream 1, Scream 2, Scream 2022, Scream 3, Scream 4. Scream 4 is still in last for me. That's just my opinion, and that's a whole nother stream, a whole nother topic. We can talk that for days. We can talk Scream for days. For sure, Ghostface. Oh, okay. Yeah, you are talking together. Let's see here. Scott Walker said, I would love to see a Ghostface kill and Scream movie during a thunderstorm and in rain. Yeah, that'd be cool. Or even in the snow or something like that. That'd be really cool. How about Fallen? You talking about the one with Denzel Washington and John Goodman, Donald Sutherland? Oh, man, that is such a good movie. Such a good movie. Fallen is really good. I felt like Smile took a little bit of Fallen's lore. A little bit. Not the whole Smile aspect and all that, the entity, but like the entity moving through people and stuff, and then like the whole climax of her isolating herself so it can't escape. All that kind of stuff. Like, spoiler alert if you haven't seen Smile, my bad. But I won't tell you anything else about Smile, but Fallen is so good. So good. If you haven't seen Fallen with Denzel Washington and John Goodman, great movie. Great movie. Bone Collector. I need to rewatch that. I remember watching Bone Collector in the theaters. I'm gonna watch that again. Yeah, I need to watch that. I have not seen that in a long time. Denzel Washington as well. Um, I personally didn't mind Roman not being in the film as much. I like that they made it a mystery. Didn't know noting about him. It adds more mystery about him. I just didn't understand the part where, like, I know it's movie makeup. And he looked like he was dead in that casket, but then Parker Posey comes out and Gail just checked his pulse and like, is he dead? And she said, yeah. So it's just kind of like, what? Like, is this an afterthought? Was Roman really supposed to die? And then that's where it was supposed to change to this whole, I don't know. Like, it needed Angelina or Parker Posey. I thought it would have been a really cool twist if Parker Posey was the killer, or at least one of the killers. Wouldn't that be crazy? Because we liked her the entire time, and she played this goofy character, and she kind of, like, her and Courtney Cox's dynamic was just so on point. It made the movie, And then to find out that Parker Posey, like, was, like, working with Roman or something, that would have even been more of a twist to me. I would love to see a horror movie filmed in Africa with a rogue elephant attacking people in the village. Yeah, creature features are always a plus. I always have a good time with creature features. The voice changer was the Bone Collector was boring. I don't remember much about it. I need to rewatch it. Didn't they, like, the killer, like, take people from like the cabs and just, like, drop them away? And it's kind of like Jigsaw, I guess. Didn't he, like, take a bone from them? I don't really remember. It was so long ago. The voice changer was a cool element. Yeah, it was. Scream 5 opening scene was really good in my opinion. Jenna Ortega did so good in that one. Yes, she did. And I need to watch the Wednesday show. I'm hearing so many good things. I heard it's about to dethrone, like, Stranger Things. Is it that good? I'm hearing so many good things about it, but I need to check it out. I honestly, like, it makes me wonder about like, depending on, like, what happens with Wednesday, if she gets, like, I don't know what her contract is with Scream, but if they make her do another season of Wednesday, she might not. It might be scheduling conflicts with Scream 7 if there's a 7. So are they going to write her off? And the way you write someone off in a horror movie, you kill them off. I'm worried about it. Really, really worried about it. Who do you think played the perfect killer clown from It? Tim Curry or the new actor? I have to give respect to Tim Curry. They're both great in their own way, but Tim Curry, OGGG, triple OG. Ghostface Fanatic, that's just me. I just think it adds more mystery to him not having a movie as much. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's like out of sight, out of mind to me. But, to each their own. I mean, it wasn't a bad one. I just feel like we needed a second killer, or we needed him a little bit more, Honestly, when he was revealed, I didn't know whenever I was younger and I saw him there, I didn't know who the fuck he was. When I was like, wait, because he didn't have his glasses and stuff, and I was like, wait, who is this? I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. What do you think of the horror movie Werewolf Girl film Ginger Snap? I have not seen Ginger Snaps. That's one movie I've heard so many great things about over the years. I need to check that out. Absolutely. Dr. Sinclair says Tony Todd, Robert Englund, Ted Raimi, etc. Yeah, I met Tony Todd, got pictures with him, talked to him for a little bit. Robert Englund, y'all already know that me and Robert, he's on the back. He's on my background on my computer, just so it's a reminder of everything he, told me. He kind of gave me a lot of dad advice. Hung out with him for like 4 hours. Great guy. Ted Raimi. I think both of the Raimis are going to be at Texas Frightmare this year, along with John Carpenter. So I'm looking forward to meeting them. Ginger Snaps is a good werewolf movie. I heard that. I need to check it out. Juice, I consider a horror crime film. I'm not sure what that is. Isn't that more like a drama? Catherine Isabel is a great late 90s, early 2000s horror scream queen. She is great. She's. I need to see this Ginger Snaps. Isn't that where she, like, originated from, or where she got, like, really famous from was Ginger Snaps. Ted Raimi always plays the one-off character that is killed off or shows up for a scene. Yeah, yeah, he is. I have a question for you. Do you think Stu is alive, and do you want them to bring him um, into the Scream film if they planned a storyline involving him? Would you like that? Would you? No, I want Stu back, but I want it done right. I know some people are like, if he could, like, maybe he's working behind the scenes and he's got this cult following and stuff like that. You know, I don't want him to be revealed in the middle of the movie or at the beginning. I want him to be the big twist after a twist thing. Like, oh, we got our two. I want it to be like, we got our two Ghostface killers. Okay, and then it's like, you know, that scene in Scream 2 when Derek, Sydney's boyfriend, gets lifted back up, and Mickey's like, now who's doing that? Could that be the mystery man waiting in the wings? You know, all that stuff. Something like that. And then the way it does that, you know, Gail and then Mrs. Lynn is coming out. Do something like that with Stu, like a double take. Like, oh, dang, what? We were wanting that. We didn't know we were going to get it, but now we got it. You know, I want something like that. He's got to be the big twist. Predator 2, the 90s horror. Yes, I need to rewatch Predator 2. I own Sleepwalkers. Sleepwalkers is so good. Oh, look who we got in the house. The Bearded Entertainment. What's up, buddy? What's up, man? I hope you're having a good night, man. Miss you, dude. Heck yeah. You going to make it to Texas Frightmare this year? Hope so. You're going to have John Carpenter there. Do you think they should just leave it alone and let it rest? No. I want to see Stu back for sure. And yep, saw it in theater. Jamie, you're awesome. You saw Sleepwalkers in theater? That's super cool. They had Skywalker in that movie. They had Ron Perlman. You got Hellboy. You got Luke Skywalker in the movie. You got all these people in this damn movie. Really cool score in the movie too. There are some things that's like hard to watch or accept. It's kind of like, that's a little bad there, but I still love it. I still love Sleepwalkers. The 90s Mortal Kombat. Oh man, I can hear that song right now, seeing that in theater. I saw that in theaters. Have we talked about The Faculty yet? Because that's definitely a 90s player. Yes, we have talked off and on about The Faculty, and yes, it is Bearded. Always said that movie needs like a series or do a sequel to it and bring back Kevin Williamson to write, Robert Rodriguez to direct. I mean, there's so much you could do with that property that I feel like, you know, you didn't even know it was a whodunit till like near the halfway through the movie. You know, like we get the queen, we get them all. That's when it's like, oh, wait a minute, you know, and then they're after the principal, and it's like, oh, wait, who is the queen? Who are we looking for here? Yes, Bearded Entertainment, absolutely. Faculty is perfection. 90s. I love the Final Destination movies. Yes, I do too. That first Final Destination movie, we talked about it earlier. They need to bring that shadow death image back. Like before someone dies, you see that like shadow go across the mirror or the wall or something, you know. Like they need to bring that back for sure. Valerie, what is up? The General. What's up, Valerie? I hope everything's going good. The Bearded Entertainment. I think Child's Play 2 is better because we get Chucky right from the start. In the first one, we had to build some suspense, so we didn't get Chucky till like halfway through. True that. Child's Play 2 is I guess like it's an easier watch. I guess, you know, like it's aged still pretty good, and it's just fun. It's just got a really cool tone to it. Cutting Classes with Brad Pitt. That's what I was getting confused with, Dominic. Thank you so much, dude. Cutting Class. I barely remember this movie, but wasn't it like a whodunit as well? Yeah, and they were like stuck in the school or something. I need to rewatch that. Mortal Kombat, the video game, is horror. Who agrees? Yeah, it's definitely got some horror stuff to it. I would like to see a darker Mortal Kombat. I guess that last movie was a little darker, but it still had some need a bigger budget or something. I don't know. Like that second half just kind of bothered me. Class of 99 came out in 1990. Malcolm McDowell, yeah. Okay, I guess I've never seen that movie. Uh, I thought the 2019 Child's Play remake was garbage. The look of the Chucky doll is uh, the doll didn't look right. It was ugly look. The actor wasn't bad, but I prefer Brad Dourif. Absolutely, me too. Something was off about it. I mean, like it seemed like a great idea. Like, okay, you're gonna do something different here. You got to do something different here, and it just didn't feel right. It really just did not. And even like some of the death scenes and stuff like that, I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know. It just didn't. Something did not flow right with it, in my opinion. Um, why do anything Sydney and Dewey became a couple instead of Gail and Dewey? You know, I always thought that there was going to be like a love triangle thing. They were going to do that later on because like Dewey kind of looked at Sydney as like a sister and like a protector and all that kind of stuff, or he was a protector over her. But in Scream 4, when they're talking on the couch at Jill's house and they're talking about her book, there's a slight moment where they're looking at each other. There's a twinkle in the eye. If you watch it real close, it happens. And I was like, I thought maybe they would dive into that, but they didn't. I think that would have been crazy if like Gail and Dewey were divorced and now Dewey and Sydney are together. You know? That would have been crazy. And it'd give a reason for Sydney and Gail not to like each other anymore. Sydney to punch Gail again. Flatliners, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Valor says, just working a lot right now, end of the year stuff, but doing okay. Okay, y'all talking. My bad. My bad. Didn't mean to interrupt. Ghostface Fanatic. The actor who was playing Andy in the 2019 Child's Play wasn't really acting. He was mostly posing for the camera. Was a terrible movie. I actually didn't think he was that bad. I thought the kid was actually the better part of the movie. But I could see, yeah, he didn't really fit. Andy had that adorableness to him. You know what I mean? Andy was a lot younger. Andy was in the original. Kind of gave you that Gage feel from Pet Sematary, like real young and just like innocent, you know. And seeing Andy crying in that first movie, like that just kind of gets you, you know. There are too many vampire movies. There are less werewolf movies. I reckon we should have more werewolf movies. I don't know. I want both. Honestly, I want both. Give me both. Give it to me all. Class of 1999 also has Pam Grier. Okay. Is Fear considered horror? Yeah, I think so. It's got horror elements. I considered The Mummy with Brendan Fraser a little horror. You know, I mean, resurrect a mummy and he kills people. It's a little horror. Let's see here. Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. Oh my God, that is a movie. That is a watch party movie if I ever heard one. Never seen that movie. Renee Zellweger and Matthew McConaughey. Gotta watch that. It's pretty bizarre. Good night, buddy. I'm off to bed. Good night, dude. Good night. Thank you for the $5 super chat again, dude. Get some rest. Thank you for coming by. Let's see. I'll check your fan film out, Destin. Okay, yeah, appreciate it. Appreciate it. It's nothing serious. You know, it's just something I made. Fun, you know, for the channel. I like doing that every now and then. Like, I've done a Pennywise one. I've done, you know, A Nightmare Before Halloween, and I'm about to have a Halloween Christmas with the Grinch and Michael Myers. So, yeah, should be fun. I just like doing little funny stuff like that. Ghostface Fanatic says, have you ever seen Final Exam? It's a Friday the 13th wannabe. The killer is a wannabe Jason Voorhees. I have not. I think I heard of it, though. I need to look that up. Thank you for bringing that to my attention, but now I'm all over that. Sounds like a fun time. Let's see here. Ooh, this thing just jumped on me again. The Strain Creepin 666 says The Strangers is one of the scariest home invasions for me. Yeah, I'm really curious what they're going to do with those new Strangers movies. You know, like I don't know what they're thinking. They're going to make Rennie Harlan's coming to direct. I think they got a writer from like King of the Hill. Like, are they going comedy with this? What is going on here? Like, I mean, we had Danny McBride write the new Halloween movie, so I mean, just because they have a comedy writer's background. I mean, David Gordon Green directed mainly comedy, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out. Yes, but it is pretty creepy. Jamie Hart says, "Have you seen Freeway? Reese Witherspoon, Kiefer Sutherland, Brooke Shields. It's freaking fantastic." Yes, I remember that. I remember that, Jamie. It wasn't like a hitchhiker type movie. Like Kiefer Sutherland was like a psycho picking up Reese Witherspoon as a hitchhiker or something. Didn't his face get all like mangled up? Like, didn't she shoot him in the face or something? I can't remember. It's been so many years ago. But yes, I forgot all about that movie. Dominic St. Clair says, "Be cool if Freddy is not gone when he passes the torch. He still lives on, but in his relative." Yeah, yeah. I liked. That's what I want. I want Robert Englund to stay involved, and I want the original Freddy to stay involved in somehow. You know, but he can't stay Freddy forever, y'all. We have to pass the torch, pass the glove sometime, somewhere. And as much as I love Robert Englund, like he was my Batman. I always say that. Well, growing up, he was my Batman. And it's crazy as that sounds, but we have to accept it at some time. And you know, Robert's getting up there in age. He can't move the way he used to. The camera work is they're gonna have to keep him in the shadows. I really do think so, for it to work. William Peterson, yeah, he was awesome on Fear. Yeah, he was the dad. Really good, really good. I know the director is a piece of crap, but Jeepers Creepers is really good. Yeah, absolutely. The first Jeepers Creepers I really like. I wish they never really showed the creeper as much. Like once he starts flying around and stuff like that, like I feel like it's not as scary. I like him in the costume. I like him jumping around with his axe and all that kind of stuff. I like all that. I wish we would keep him like that. Like that. And yes, the director is a piece of shit, a piece of dirtbag, a piece of garbage. Let's don't show him any recognition. Scott Walker, you know, like I said in the last question the other day, Joker slasher. Yeah. I mean, I don't know about that. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they could make like a slasher. You know, I know we got like Pennywise, but it's not really a slasher. It is a horror icon, but not a slasher. If we did get like a clown slasher movie, like a knockoff of Ronald McDonald, something, you know, killing people with a knife, that'd be kind of. I mean, we got Terrifier now, but you know, like Terrifier is like its own thing. I don't know. I have a love-hate relationship with Terrifier. That's just me. What do you think of the idea? I will horror movie with a killer snowman that this guy is camping and is watching someone being the snowman moves. I'd watch it. Jack Frost. I would watch it if it's executed right. I don't know what directors were thinking when they made 2019 Child's Play. Yeah, I don't either. I don't know. Too many ideas and none of them. I mean, like even like it was miscast too. I thought the detective had great actors. I thought I love Aubrey Plaza. I think she's great, but I think she was miscast. I just really do. Scott Ward said, "Do you remember a film that came out in the year 2000? It was called Hollow Man." Yeah, we talked about that, buddy. Yep, Hollow Man was great. Don St. Clair Studios. What if they make a crime thriller where there are two detectives trying to solve the murder and track down the killer? At the end, they arrest him and take him to questioning on why he did what he did. I feel like that's been done in a lot of movies. Jamie Hart says, "I loved Wednesday. It was fantastic. I got to check it out. Definitely got to check it out." Wow, we were over at 1 o'clock. You see how time flies when you're having fun? Then the one detective is so fed up and mad at the killer for what he has done, he shoots him and kills him. But then the killer starts to transform into a demon-like creature and kills everyone. Maybe they're stuck in the precinct. That'd be kind of cool. If it's executed right. I always say that if it's executed right. Uh, Wednesday was a surprise for me. I loved it. Awesome. Valerie says I did too. Okay, I gotta check it out. Gotta check it out. Already binged Wednesday like 4 times. Damn. Um, I'm sorry. Scott Walker. As a 90s kid like myself, I loved the Goosebumps TV series. It was spooky. It was like scary. It was cool. Yeah, they definitely had some like scary imagery in some of them, from what I remember. I would love to see a horror movie version of the Rugrats. Wow, that's wild. Juice stars Tupac Shakur. Okay, I guess I've never seen it. Did you know Daniel Harris did the voice over Deborah and the Wild Thornberrys? I did not. Never watched that. I remember when that came out though. I was like a kid or something. Would you consider Joyce? I don't know. Oh, you're asking Dominic. Sorry. Yes, the killer is revealed, but then the person walks towards Tara and Dominic, you got some great ideas. Stu comes from behind her. Sam. Got some great idea. I would love to return to Woodsboro, and there's a for sale sign at Stu's house for. Yeah, where did Stu get the money though? I guess they leave that up. It's kind of like the dad. How did he afford that house on Home Alone? You know, like I guess you don't ask those kind of questions. You don't ask what does he do for a living. You and Steven and Jake, I wanted the coolest guys on YouTube to talk about movies and horror films. I'll have a beer for you. Thanks, Scott. And I'll have some champagne for you too. Here's to you, buddy. I'm glad you enjoy our channels. I'm glad you're a part of the conversation. You're awesome. Dominic St. Clair says, yes, cutting class is a whodunit. Yeah, that's what I remember. I think I remember who did it too. I know who done it. Who the hell done it? They should put that in a line in a movie, like, who done it? Just like some guy in the middle, like you're standing around, you're like, you know, one of us is the killer. Who the fuck done it? I think that would be funny. Break some tension. I will want to see a Scream game on PS5. Yes, we talked about that earlier. Brad Dourif always be Chucky. Yes, he will. I met Brad Dourif. Cool guy. The dynamic between Fiona Dourif and Brad Dourif is so cute and amazing. Just their dad and daughter dynamic is so awesome. I watched their. If you watched my Texas Frightmare 2022 video, go check it out. It's on my channel, and I had the panels of I had like the Scream panel, I had the Chucky panel. What else did I have? Nightmare 3, Dream Warriors. I can't talk. See, after midnight, I'm like a gremlin. I get weird. Have all those panels on there, and also like a walkthrough and meeting people and like Jamie Kennedy and Skeet Ulrich. Really fun. It was a really fun time. And then some stuff happened with the cosplay Blade. I won't speak up. Rawhead Nick's not in the chat anymore, but go follow me on my Instagram and stuff, and you'll see some pictures from that weekend. Funny stuff. The actor that did the voice of Chucky in the remake was Mark Hamill, aka Luke Skywalker. I was pleasantly surprised. Yeah, he did an okay job. He came and played ball. I just wish that the script and the directing was better and better casted, as far as like our cast. Scream Red, yeah. I just want to forget it was made. Hell yeah. Let's see here. I didn't like the fact that Sydney didn't get a proper send-off. She was just sitting in the back of an ambulance. It wasn't really a proper goodbye. Yeah, I think because she's going to be back. Dominic says, we need to do a collab, make a fan film, Destin. Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. Shoot me a email or message on Instagram, and man, we'll talk it out, man. We'll write something up. We'll get the ball moving on that. What other 90s horror movies? Did y'all like I Still Know What You Did Last Summer? Let me know what you think about that movie. What about? Would you consider the movie The Edge with Alec Baldwin and Anthony Hopkins, where they're in the wilderness with the bear? There's a bear scene in that that really messed me up whenever I was younger. It's called The Edge. Uh, Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers came out in 1995. That's a 90s movie. Um, I got one for you. I got one for you, and I want to know what you guys think, and ladies. The Rage, Carrie 2. I saw that movie in theaters, Jamie. I remember seeing The Rage, Carrie 2 in theaters, and I remember thinking it was a lot better than it should have been. Honestly, it had some like really creative kills, and the acting was good. It was dark. I mean, like, I know everyone's a purist, and the original Carrie is great and all, but I like The Rage, Carrie 2 over the remake of Carrie with Chloe Moretz, whatever her name is. Um, the Rage Carrie 2 came out in 1999. Who remembers that? Let's see. Dominic St. Clair Stewart says Vampire in Brooklyn. How about that? Yes, Vampire in Brooklyn is awesome. Eddie Murphy is one of the best. And that was a Wes Craven film. It was really good. I remember having a lot of fun with that. That blends horror and comedy really well. The dude's like eyeball falling out and hand falling off. He's like washing his car or like waxing his car and his hand falls off. And then like his eye falls out and someone steps on it. It's funny. House on Haunted Hill. House on Haunted Hill. Anybody remember that? That was a good one. Sometimes They Come Back. Stephen King. Dinner. Dr. Giggles. We talked about that. Needful Things. 1993. Strangeland. Man, The Dark Half. There's a time when there was like so many Stephen King movies being made, like they are now, like it's having like a resurgence now. I got another one for you. And this is one of my favorite movies. Has anyone seen the movie Apt Pupil? Brad Renfro, Ian McKellen, even Joshua Jackson. It's a young Joshua Jackson as Brad Renfro's friend in the movie. Has anyone seen this movie? Apt Pupil is gold. I love that movie. Scott Walker says, do you remember the scary kill? No, I don't. You keep talking about this Well movie. I'm not quite sure. They're making a Texas Chainsaw Massacre game. It's going to be really. Yeah, no, I'm looking. Kane Hodder's playing Leatherface in that game. I'm looking forward to that. Absolutely. Since they're not updating the Friday 13th game and all that kind of stuff, which I wish they would now that, you know, all that stuff is over with. But yeah, more horror games. Give them to me. Give me more. Let's see here. How about concept of a killer cat? Yeah. Do you remember the 1999 movie Lake Platte? Yeah. We talked about that. We talked about that too, Scott. You must have not have been around for the conversation earlier. I thought you were. I thought you were here. Christine. Yeah, the killer car. Yeah, that'd be cool. Brett James Bishop says, I would be down for an Anna Faris and Regina Hall reboot of Scary Movie. They have some. They do. They played really well together. Yeah, they got a good script. I would like the Wayans brothers to be attached to it, though. And I know that it's not going to happen. But, yes. And I want it to be rated R. None of this PG-13 crap. Get, like, Seth Rogen or something to write it, you know? Like, and Jonah Hill. I think they would make a really good scary movie. The way they did, like, This Is the End, let them take over a scary movie project, you know, and they can play in it as well. That'd be kind of fun, don't you think? Any fans of Red Eye, Craven's most underrated film? Yes. I've only seen it once. Need to rewatch it. Rachel McAdams. Yes, it was good. Let's see here. Fiona Dorff is amazing as possessed Chucky. Yeah, her laugh, they have like almost the same laugh. Dino's in the house. What's up, everyone? What's up, buddy? Welcome to the party, pal. Talking 90s horror. We're about 3.5 hours in. I don't know how much longer I can go. But I'm glad you're here, buddy. Welcome. The Rage Carry 2. I've seen that yesterday. You watched it yesterday. What'd you think of it? I love The Rage Carry 2, Jamie says. Me too. I think it's really good. And you got one of the kids from Home Improvement. And he was a little shit, wasn't he? But he gets what he deserves. He got like the worst death scene ever, in my opinion. Honestly, if you know what I'm talking about, Jamie. If you haven't seen The Rage Carry 2, it's got one of the worst death scenes ever, in my opinion. But it's so gnarly. Let's see here. What else? The Rage Carry 2 is really good sequel to Carrie. Yes. I like it too. It doesn't get talked about enough. I always remember that one scene where they walking through the insane asylum to see the girl's mom, and that one dude's like beating his head on the wall and going, "I don't know, I don't know." Anyways, did you talk about The Good Son with Macaulay Culkin? Dino, I have not. Great pick, man. You got Macaulay Culkin. You got what's his name? Frodo. You got Frodo in it at a very young age. What is his name? I cannot think of his name right now. See, that's the thing. That's what happens with old age, y'all. I'm getting old, and it's late, and I'm on some champagne, and you get these brain farts. Anybody else in their late 30s or more, and you kind of get these little brain farts where it's just like you're thinking of something, and then just poof, it's gone. It's gone. I don't know. But The Good Son, anyways. Yeah, The Good Son, Dino, is really good. That's a really good movie. It's really awesome. I like it a lot. The Dark Half is so good. Jamie Hart, I saw At Pupil in theater. Damn! What have you not seen in theaters, Jamie? I own a copy of it too. That's such a good movie. That movie, I could watch that movie right now. At Pupil is gold. He's talking about Orca, the killer whale Jaws ripped off. Oh, okay. I have not watched it. I've seen the cover art, but I have not watched the movie. My bad. Scott Walker, do you think it's possible we can do a live chat with Matthew Lillard, aka Stu, one day and ask if I think that's hard to do. Supposed to have already had an interview with Jamie Kennedy. Been back and forth on email, but he's a pretty busy guy. These guys are pretty busy, you know. And my channel is still pretty significantly small. I don't know. I do interviews though with who I can get on my channel. I need to be doing more of those. I need to be reaching out more. But yeah, that would be awesome. That would be super awesome. I did meet Matthew Lillard though. Shook his hand, talked to him for a minute, got a picture with him. Really cool guy. But he's not the type that like would hang out really outside the convention, you know, like, so it makes me wonder if like he might, hey, it's a shot. Hey, I'll do you one even more. I'll send an email on IMDb Pro and I'll see if they respond to it. Okay. Because that's one person I have not reached out to. Craven said he tried Scott, but he's not really busy. I don't know. Has anyone seen Two Evil Eyes? No, I have not. Never even heard of that. Would you consider Basic Instinct with Sharon Stone a horror movie? I mean, it's got slasher elements, someone getting stabbed. It's more of a thriller, you know, but yeah, it's got some horror elements to it. Let's see here. What about Mikey, the movie about the kid? Oh, Dino. That brings back memories. I forgot all about Mikey, the kid that is secretly a killer and kills everyone that adopts him. It's the kid from Blank Check. It is the kid from Blank Check. I forgot all of it. Doesn't he like throw like a toaster or something like that and like his mom's bathtub? And yeah, I remember that. Wow, I haven't seen that movie. And then there was another one called The Paperboy. Does anybody remember that movie, The Paperboy? That was crazy. Yeah, there's a lot of these like kid killer movies back in the day. Um, I thought the Rage Carrier 2 wasn't going to be connected to Carrier Original, but was connected. Yep. Oh yeah, she gave that guy what he deserved, brutal as it was. Yes, it was. uh, I love the tagline of the poster of Mikey. It said, "Jason and Freddy were kids once." Love it. Yeah, yeah, that I remember that. I remember seeing that. Yeah, Scream Red. Yeah. Um, yep, my brains are totally scrambled. Okay, so you're with me. You're with me here. Cool, cool, cool. How about the Omen? Yeah, yeah, Omen's good. It's good stuff. Well, everyone, I think I'm gonna get going. It was a great talking, speculating. Good night. Yeah, Ghostface. Hope to see you on another one. Thank you for coming by, man. Get some rest. Great chatting with you too. Good. Elijah Wood. That's the other kid. Yeah, not Frodo. Yeah, I know it's Frodo, but you know, they were both young. Let's see here. I'm probably gonna wrap this up pretty soon too. We're 3.5 hours going in. I cannot believe that. I didn't see a lot of stuff in theater in the 2000s. I was a new mom and had no time. He's grown now, so I'm back to the old habits. I feel you. I feel you. I was a young dad, and you just got to work at the movie theater, and then you get to watch them all. It's convenient. But yeah, awesome, awesome. Movie theater is my sanctuary for sure. What about The Stepfather? Yeah, Stepfather's good. Yeah, from what I remember. Then they had that remake. Yes, yes, the toaster kill was great. Michael Joe's in the house. 2 first name, like an action star. Oh yeah. Michael Joe, you were coming in right when we're about to wrap things up. We have had a great time talking about 90s, our favorite 90s horror. There's so many out there. If you had to pick your favorite one, you cannot pick Scream, everybody. Before we hang up, like we're on the damn telephone. Put down what is your favorite 90s horror film except Scream? Can't pick Scream. Michael Joe. Damn. He said, "I'm going against the rules. Rules are made to be broken. I'm an action star." You even got the Punisher as your profile, your pick. Would you guys consider The People Under the Stairs a horror? Absolutely. People Under the Stairs is so good. I heard that Jordan Peele is supposed to make another People Under the Stairs. No one's talked about Warlock or Warlock the Armageddon or any of those movies. That's another 90s. I remember like watching one of the Warlock movies and I liked it whenever I was younger. I don't remember much about it, but man, I just think more people need to see Brain Scan. Honestly, I just am disturbing behavior and The Frighteners and Event Horizon and The Faculty. I could go on and on and on. It's so many great movies. This was the time to be alive. Sleepwalkers. This was the time to be alive. Deep Rising. Deep Rising. Anybody ever see Deep Rising? That was a fun, like the squid on the cruise ship. That was fun. From Dusk Till Dawn. Idle Hands. Great stuff. Really great stuff. In the Mouth of Madness. Let's see here. What's your favorite kill from Jason Goes to Hell, Destin? Honestly, like my favorite kill is the elbow to the chin in the diner. Love that. I love it. That's my favorite kill. Well, for me, Jason Goes to Hell is my favorite. Okay, good to know. I Know What You Did Last Summer. Okay, yeah. Good one, Michael Joe. Extron Gaming's in the house. What's up, buddy? Urban Legends. I Know What You Did Last Summer. Candyman. Great picks. 90s all over it. Jamie Hart says Candyman. That's a good one. It's hard to beat Candyman. Oh, I mean, if we're not putting Scream in the equation, you know. Yeah. I urge everyone to go try and check out Brain Scan. I really do. What would you like to see as an Australian horror? I don't know. A kangaroo. Do a kill a kangaroo movie. It's hopping all over the damn place, ripping people apart, punching people. Probably It would be my favorite horror. It's a good one, Dino. You guys remember the Lawnmower Man? We talked about that briefly earlier. Yeah, Lawnmower Man. That could benefit to a remake with all the technology that they have now with VR and all that stuff. Lawnmower Man, that's what brought me to the Brain Scan stuff. You haven't watched Brain Scan with Edward Furlong. It's got some Lawnmower Man things in there, and it was a little bit ahead of its time, and I feel like a remake would be really good with it, with technology today. Creepin' 666, see you later, my horror gore freaks. All this talk about 90s horror, I will have to find one to watch tonight. Well, find one, buddy, and you have yourself a really awesome night. Get some rest, and thank you for coming by and hanging out with us and talking some horror, 90s horror. Scream Rag, going to bed at the moment. Take care, guys. This was a lot of fun. Yeah, you too, bud. You too, bud. Scott Walker, what do you think of the idea of a horror movie? Yeah, I like it. I've never seen a man-eating elephant going around attacking and killing people. Let's see here. If they do a show of Urban Legend, who do you think they should cast? Jenna Ortega. You excited for Cocaine Bear? Yes, I actually do want to see that. I think it's going to be really goofy. Yeah, it's probably going to be vicious, but I think it's going to be more goofy than we think it's going to be. I wish it was a little bit more serious tone and like a little scary and vicious. I want it scary and vicious. It can still have some comedy in there, but I feel like they're going like too comedy with it. But I do want to see it. Craven did a watch party with Carbonite Jedi. They were watching Bed Rest starring Melissa Barrera, and they said they didn't enjoy it. Oh, wow. I was curious about that movie. And oh, yeah, I did see a message from them earlier about they were going to watch that. Wow. Okay, so they didn't enjoy it. Well, now you know why it's on a streaming service. That's kind of how it goes. Terminator 2. Terminator 2 has some horror elements. I'll give it that, but that's one of the best action movies ever. It definitely does have some little horror elements. Scream will always be my #1 favorite 90s horror movie of all time because the best memory I have of Scream watching it for my brain. The very first time with my oldest sister, that was a very special time. Yeah, it always means a lot. Like there's things I watched with like my dad or something like that, and it's like I always relate it to that, you know. I really like Tremors. Yeah, me too, boo. Super, super good movie. I mean, Kevin Bacon's awesome. Brett James Bishop, there was Firestarter 2 Rekindled. That was made for TV. I was on the set here in Utah and met Malcolm McDowell, Dennis Hopper, and wow, I remember that. And that's super cool, Brett. That's an awesome experience, dude. Super awesome. I remember seeing who was the kid in Firestarter 2, Brett? Wasn't it like Alyssa Milano or something? Who? I could be completely wrong, but I want to say I've seen the cover of that. Didn't know it was a made-for-TV movie, though. God, Scream is iconic touch. Yep. Have you seen Scanners 2? Nope. I've heard of it. Never seen Scanners. The 90s were the best. Yes, they were. How old is your dad, Destin? And how old is my mom? They are in, oh dang. My dad is 65 this year, and my mom is 63. Yep, they're getting there. Let's see. I met Drew Barrymore's dad at premiere in Encino, California. Such a cool person. Awesome. That's awesome. That's super awesome. Guys, this has been great. Had so many great movies. If I had to put something down besides Scream, I would say check out The Faculty, Disturbing Behavior, and Brain Scan. Those are my 3 choices if you want some good. Now, I mean, there's so many. I mean, I could talk, Candyman, From Dusk Till Dawn, Tremors, Deep Rising. I mean, the list goes on. I mean, you can't really just pick one. Event Horizon, Mimic, Frighteners, The Relic was good from what I can remember. Need to rewatch that. I mean, there's just so many good movies. I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. We had some Halloween movies. Wes Craven's New Nightmare, Halloween H2O, The Edge. Sometimes They Come Back. Apt Pupil. I highly urge people, if you haven't seen that, check that movie out. It was awesome with Brad Renfro. Stir of Echoes. Rage Carry 2. Idle Hands as a good horror comedy. It's still got some horror elements. Sleepy Hollow. I mean, guys, this has been great going down memory lane, honestly. Really, really cool. Deep Blue Sea, Bride of Chucky, The Mummy, Silence of the Lambs, Lake Placid, Species. Okay, that's it. That's it, guys. We're going to wrap it up. We're going to wrap it up. Here's to y'all. Thank you for coming by. You can see my glass. Drinking some champagne. Like I said earlier, Mom always said I had a champagne taste on a beer budget. I like champagne though. Thank you guys. And I got a watch party on Sunday night with very own stationeer member Jen Warner. We're going to watch Dracula 2000. Gerard Butler as Dracula. Have not seen this movie in years. Come back for that. And another night of night screams on every Friday night, 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. Guys, I love you guys. It's been great. You guys are awesome. Y'all get some rest. All right. I'm sorry I kept y'all up so long. It's been a little bit longer of a stream than usual, but it's been great. It's been, I mean, it's so therapeutic just to talk to my fam. And that's how I look at it. Y'all are my fam. Y'all, we got to look out for each other, and we got a great community. I love all y'all. And thank you for the support, each and every one of y'all. And I'll see you guys later, or I'll see you on another time. That was very confusing. You don't know if you're going to see me or not, do you? All right, guys, I'm signing off.